All right, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Millennial Meltdown podcast. I'm here today with Zac Allen, a very funny Phoenix-based comedian.
Hello, Jeremy.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, this is dope. We've been sitting here talking for probably like 20 minutes now, and I'm like, we should fucking start recording. And now we're recording. Video looks good. Audio looks good.
I'm not used to seeing myself like live, like when I'm speaking. Like, it's like always something like after the fact.
I won't keep that up. I promise. You don't have to look at that.
I'm gonna be shooting glances to it. Like,
yeah. Yeah. No, I usually just like throw my logo up, like that.
Well, I like that.
And then we can like Google shit or whatever.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, so we were just sitting here talking about our jobs, our work life. I have some like basic questions I want to ask you, just because, I guess just so everyone knows, this is like my first time sitting down and ever talking to you away from like an open mic.
Yeah.
So
I was looking forward to. It's always weird, like, because like I have so many people who I see like throughout the weeks.
Yeah.
And like vast majority of them I really don't know like anything about their lives.
Right.
Like, there's like bits and pieces you kind of gather, but it's
yeah,
weird.
You like see someone at an open mic and then you're like, oh hey dude, what's up? And you like kind of feel like you're friends with them.
Yeah.
But you know absolutely nothing about them.
Yeah.
And it's like the weirdest. That's like the weirdest thing about the comedy community in that sense is like everyone's very tight and close niche, and like I mean people like give each other hugs and stuff, but like no one knows each other like that well. Like
yeah, I've been like starting to like meet more people, which that's been kind of cool. But like when I was first starting out, it was so uncomfortable for me most of the time.
And when did you start out, dude?
So I started out October 2016 up in Montana.
Oh, fucking A. So you're 3 years in now.
Yep, 3 years in. Yeah.
Wow, man.
But so like up there, I was basically like a hobbyist. Like I was only able to do it like 1 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Just we didn't have a lot of mics. I'd have to kind of make random places to do stand up. And then moving down here, that was awesome. Like just being able to do it like 10 times a week, it's been fun.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. The Phoenix scene is like, I mean, you could do a mic every fucking day.
Yeah.
A lot of nights you can do 2 or 3 if you time them out right.
Yeah. No, it's been fun, and it's a good scene. Like a lot of people, a lot of people like taking it seriously, and it's fun. It's a lot to like learn from, which that's been really fun.
Yeah, it's like such a big community. It's weird. I mean, I've only been doing it 7 months now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird, like my experience, and like I'm definitely just starting out slow. Like I mean, I just started doing it once a week, and now I'm like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
I would love to get to the point where I could do 10 mics a fucking week. I don't know if I'll ever have that much free time, but
it's just like even like just like starting out, like especially like because you're 7 months in, like right now, like it's just like kind of like figuring out like what you want to do with it, how much you want to do with it.
Yeah.
And like the more you do it, like I didn't really start taking it like seriously from like a performing standpoint until like last May. Just that was like the first time I could. Yeah. And it was just kind of like, I think if I didn't have like 2 years of not being able to do it as much, I don't know if I'd do it if I'd still be doing it as much.
Right. You would have burnt yourself out a little bit. Not
necessarily burnt. I wasn't as secure in myself like back then. That's so fair. I think like I would have gotten like defeated or like something early on.
That's fair. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're younger than I thought you were, man.
I know. It's the beard.
Jesus. Jesus. You Jesus-looking motherfucker.
That's it. What they say.
Oh shit. That's so interesting.
Because when you
what
I don't think I'm a millennial.
What year were you born? 96?
Yeah.
You are a millennial.
Am I like the last of the
Anyone born from
millennials?
97 onward is part of Gen Z. You're the last year of a millennial.
That's
I was going to say, you might be the first non-millennial on my podcast, but you just made the cut.
I'm humbled.
Welcome to the club.
Bless you.
That's hilarious. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and so how old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay.
Born in 91.
Okay.
So I just had Mike Turner on the podcast. Have you met Mike?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
ran This Week Sucks Tonight. And we were just talking, and he's 33, so he's 5 years older than I am.
Okay.
And so we were just talking about like the generational differences of like what he grew up with versus what I grew up with. But I grew up with two older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the youngest in his family, and he had older siblings. So I got like that generational stuff from his 33 generation, because my brother's 35.
Mm-hmm.
So like I also grew up with like Ninja Turtles and like shit like He-Man and those old cartoons from the late 80s that like some of my friends didn't grow up with. Or like I remember having like a Super Nintendo when like a lot of my friends didn't have video games until like PlayStation 2 came out.
Yeah. So you kind of got like the jump start, like So
Right.
you were like shaped by like the older generation,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas opposed to, do you have siblings?
I have an
Are you
older sister. So she was like we were always really close, and
Yeah.
she wasn't like a big video game player, so like we didn't get that into video games just in our house. But like I have like I've really loved Mean Girls. I got really into Britney Spears there for a while because of her. So it's just like
Yeah, see, I grew up with Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. I had a Britney Spears like poster on my wall as a kid.
hell of a voice. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, she's batshit crazy now.
Yeah.
You know she has like a severe like bipolar disorder.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's like a basket case, dude.
That's so sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, it's rough. Like I mean, like I feel like now like I'm relatively like feminine, and like I feel like a lot of that has to come just because like the stuff I like grew up like watching.
Because you
like,
grew up with a sister.
Yeah. And we were close too, so that probably helped too. So maybe I like to think I made her more masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she for sure made you more feminine.
I think I'm just blaming my own development on her. That's
funny.
More, yeah.
Yeah.
I love her though. She's still we're still pretty close, so that's really good.
Yeah, that is good, man. I think it's good to be close to your siblings. I'm closer to my middle brother than I am with my older brother,
Mm-hmm.
but that's purely because like we actually grew up together. Like my oldest brother's almost 7 years older than I am.
Okay.
So that's like literally like me and Mike 5 years different. Like he's 7 years. Like there's an entire different generation of shit, like
Yeah.
by the time he was graduating high school, I was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like he moved out before I even like remember like being like a teenager and like
Yeah.
how much stuff do you remember from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like
It's just kind of like all in passing, and like that's like how I am with my cousins too. Like they were all very close with their other cousins,
yeah,
and my sister and I, we were like the youngest by far.
yeah,
So it was just kind of like always interesting. Like they're always really nice, but it was just like we didn't have like that same connection that they had with their other cousins. So it's kind of it's weird, like just how that actually like plays such a big part in it. Like just like when you're growing up.
yeah. And you said Montana.
Yeah.
You lived there until you moved here.
Yeah.
So you lived there for 22 years.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Before I spent a summer out in Maine, but before I spent that summer out in Maine, I spent like 3 months out there. That was like the longest I've ever spent like outside of Montana. Before since I moved there, because we moved there when I was like 1 or 2, so it was interesting, just kind of like getting that experience and like moving down here, kind of getting away from it, starting something new.
And did you go to college or no?
Yeah, University of Montana.
You said you got a degree in journalism.
Yeah. We were in the Big Sky Conference with NAU. Yeah.
Yep.
Go Grizz.
Go Jags.
What is it? They do is that
the LJ?
Yeah.
What's Montana's thing?
Go Grizz, fight on.
Oh, you don't have like a hand symbol or anything?
No, it's like a call and response. Like you see someone, you say "Go Grizz,"
Go Grizz,
and they say "Fight on."
Yeah, NAU doesn't have really that like, I don't know, passion about the school or anything. Like no one like says that shit. Like no one does this other than athletes. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I always wished I loved NAU and I love living in the mountains and I still fucking wish I lived there. But I always wished I went to a bigger school like ASU where people actually like cared about sports and like had like school pride and shit, like wore gear on Fridays, like, you know, like school colors and shit. Like NAU wasn't really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like what's weird about Montana. It's like the same size as NAU, but Montana, we don't have professional sports. Our two biggest schools are Montana and Montana State, which are like not even a mid-major. Like they're you win your conference in March Madness. That's the only way they're going to the tournament.
Okay.
Or they're in the FCS, which is like below like the FBS football. But it's the only like the closest thing we have to professional sports. So people take so much pride in like Montana and Montana State.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
because you guys don't have professional sports teams in Montana.
Yeah, so it's like all we have to identify with.
Wow, I've never really thought about that before.
Yeah,
I've definitely had conversations and wondered about that though, like what it's like to live in states that don't have sports teams, or like who did you grew up rooting for professionally wise, like what states teams?
So I was born in Colorado, so I just latched on to like the Broncos and the Nuggets.
Okay.
And then we got for baseball we had FSN Northwest, so it was the Mariners.
Okay.
Or WGN. It was like the broadcasting channel, and for whatever reason, Montana got Chicago's broadcasting network.
Okay. The Cubs or the Sox?
The Cubs. That's who I latched on, because it was Sammy Sosa was up at that time.
See, and that's like the weird shit when teams or cities have multiple teams.
Yeah.
Like Chicago has the White Sox and the Cubs.
Yeah.
You're like, why?
Yeah. It's so big. Like, I mean, like what? LA has them. LA, Chicago, and then New York. Are those the only three?
Yeah, probably. That sounds right. Yeah, because, I mean, Texas has, like, 4 football teams.
That's true, yeah.
Whatever, too. Texas has San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. They have the Houston... They have, like... and then, is there a Dallas basketball team?
The Mavericks, yeah.
So there's 3 basketball teams
in
in Texas. But that's not like one city, it's one state. But I always think it's ridiculous that states have so many teams. California has fucking 5 baseball teams or some shit.
Yeah.
They have the Padres, the Angels, the Athletics, the Giants, and is that it?
Dodgers.
And the Dodgers.
Yeah.
5 fucking baseball teams. Like, go fuck yourself, California.
Yeah, and Arizona might as well be like the Phoenix Dodgers. Like, every time I go to the Dodger games down here,
dude,
there's so many Dodger fans.
I hate it, dude. I hate it. Being an Arizona sports fan, I'm a firm believer that we need to restructure the conferences in most sports.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to put the big budget teams in the same conference. I don't see how that's unfair.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Dodgers should be in the same conference as the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And, like, the Astros and the Yankees or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no, there's no, not payroll, salary cap. There's no salary cap in baseball.
Yeah.
So that would make so much sense.
Like, how's it fair that they play in the same conference with the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies?
Yeah.
And their budget is like $300 million more than all those teams like combined.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, they beat us every fucking year. And it's like the Patriots playing the Dolphins and the Jets every year or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like, put the Patriots in the same conference as like the fucking, I don't know, the Saints and like the Steelers or some shit.
I think football's a little bit different because I think there is a salary cap. So they have like they at least have limitations, and that just comes down to management. Like, some teams just genuinely have like really shitty management.
That is true. I mean, the owners, and that's fair. But yeah, baseball just fucking drives me nuts, man.
Yeah. It's weird here too because like so much, like every city like basically has like a center of pride around their sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
Down here there's like where I work, like there's about half that like, not even half that like Arizona teams, and the rest like all just focus on like random sports teams because they're all transplants.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so weird. Like I feel like you don't get that in like most other cities.
Dude, it's weird, man.
Yeah.
Like it's strange going. Like I went to Boston last October, and it's just, I mean, old ladies were walking their dogs, and their dogs were wearing Tom Brady jerseys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, not even kidding. Like, I met a dog. I fucking stopped and talked to this lady and pet her dog, and her dog's name was Brady, and it was wearing a Tom Brady jersey.
You don't see a lot of Larry Fitzgerald's dogs around here,
right, dude? Yeah. Like, oh, hey, little Larry, some little old lady walking. Like, it is a different fucking thing on the East Coast, man.
Yeah,
and especially in those big cities. Like, I would love to be like Chicago. Like, Chicago's all about Chicago sports.
Yeah.
Like, people fucking love Chicago sports. I would love it if Phoenix people were like, fuck yeah, Cardinals. Like, you know, but it's not. It's never going to be like that here.
Yeah. And it's cool, like, that they have, like, a rivalry within their city. Like,
yeah.
That's, like, I feel like that's really unique because, like, you can go to most cities and, like, there's, you know, it's the one team and everyone gets on board.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, you go to, like, New York or, like, Chicago, and, like, there's, like, actually, like, a rivalry between, like, the two teams within the same city.
Yeah, so New York, there's, like, Jets fans and then, like, hardcore Giants fans.
Yeah.
And it's like they live in different sections of the city. Like, if you live up here, you're a Jets fan. Like,
yeah.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. And there's so many sports bars down here that, like, are the official sports bar of another team. Like, Toso's. It's like the Patriots bar.
Is it? I didn't know that. I actually have never gone to Toso's because it's so fucking far up there.
It's one of my favorite. I work right by there, so it's like really nice. But it's like it's a good hang.
Yeah.
And it's a good place because there's so many mics on Wednesdays that you can hit.
Dustin told me that's his like favorite one.
Yeah.
Dustin Cade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't got up there. Usually I don't go out on Wednesdays. But if I do, I just go to the fucking one in Tempe, the Woodshed.
Yeah. That's a good mic though. I like Woodshed a lot.
Yeah, dude. Like being out here on the west side, it's just way more convenient to go to mics closer to me.
Yeah.
And like that's why I haven't gone to like Improv Mania in a while. Because I'm just like I could go 15 minutes up the street to Grand Ave Pizza and hit Josh Harrison's mic on Thursday.
Yeah.
Instead of going way the fuck 40 minutes to Improv Mania from here.
Yeah. Do you do Joe Bot ever afterwards?
Joe Bot?
So it's like right by there, which is like really convenient. And it's a mixed open mic. It's run Q. He's like
Joe Bot Coffee?
Yeah. So it's like a bunch of musicians. They get poets. It's a tough room, but I like it a lot just because, you know, it's interesting. And I like getting like mixed open mics is nice every once in a while because you hear comedy so much.
I've never gone to a mixed open mic. I was gonna ask you about that because you were gonna go to the 3:30 mic today.
Yeah.
Darrell's mic.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think that's like kind of just more of a challenge because people aren't there just to see comedy, or there's just poets and musicians going too?
I think it's more of a challenge, and then like on top of it, one thing I like about it too is like it's kind of like a breakup, and you get to see like another portion of like art. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Because like I kind of get in like a, you know, not a wormhole, I guess, like where like I'm just like focused on like comedy, and that's like the only art form I want to ingest.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice, like in that breakup and reminding yourself like there's others like out there, and it's cool to see it, like seeing someone else like work on their craft like in the same way like you're working on yours.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I've never really thought about that before. Honestly, man, I feel like just being in comedy is just every time I go to a mic or every time I fucking go out on a different weeknight, it's like it's always just such a big learning experience. Like that. Like I probably should go to a mixed mic and just fucking see how it is and shit like that.
Yeah. And I mean, like honestly, it's just like about just getting on stage.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like been the biggest thing like I found like just getting on stage, that's like the biggest thing because you learn to be more comfortable with bombing and stuff.
Yeah.
and you just like when I first moved down here, like bombing at an open mic, it was like defeating, and now like it's at the point I was like, it was a Tuesday. Like I mean, like yeah.
It's like, what can you do?
Yeah. So
I hear you.
I think that's like the biggest thing is just getting comfortable with bombing. That's like been like one of my favorite things so far.
Yeah, that's fair. I have definitely bombed a handful of times, and I do remember the last time was easier than the first time. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Like like it happens.
Yeah.
And I think that mindset helps when other people bomb that are my friends. I'm like, hey man, like fucking Tuesday, like you said, like you know, it's like it's whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I did want to say something about what you said earlier. I'm fucking stoned, so I don't want to forget it. What you said about being younger and doing less mics, like you don't know if you would have like stuck with it or not necessarily get burnt out. I said that like almost same thing to Mike Turner when he was here, because I was like, I don't know if I started comedy in college. In my early 20s, I don't know if I would have stuck with it or if I would have enjoyed it as much or like cared about it as much as I do now.
Right.
So I'm like I started when I was 27, but I'm like kind of glad I started when I was 27 because now I feel like I have like this foundation in my life and like I know where I'm at currently and where I want to go in my 30s, and like I didn't really have any of that mindset before, and I don't know if I would have taken open mics as seriously as I do now. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And I think, like, that's just kind of, like, it comes, like, with maturity, kind of like you said.
Oh, totally.
And then also part of it, too, is, like, just, like, finding something you're passionate about. Because, like, if you have, like, something else, like, you're passionate about at, like, a different age, it's probably going to take priority to it. And that's fine. Like, I mean, like, it's just kind of all about, like, just finding like that you enjoy it, because that's been like the biggest thing is like, you know, finding out that it's something like I genuinely enjoy. Yeah, you know, because there's so much you can get caught up with in comedy.
Yeah,
and just like at the end of the day, you just got to realize like you do it because you really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I think that's been really cool. Like just kind of figuring that out and going through it. So I think it just like that's, I don't know. Like I kind of lost my train of thought, but
you're good.
It's kind of like back to what you said. Like I think it just depends. Like, you know, each person's different. Each person's like journey is gonna be different, which is really cool.
Totally. And I mean, like I get it. Like I'm taking comedy seriously in the aspect of like I got a writing degree. I want to make movies. I know I've always wanted to move to LA and make movies. I've always been kind of funny, and I like I've always been like a shit talker in my friends and like the class clown type of person, you know. And I like always been super into comedy. Like as a kid, I was always the one showing my friends stand-up specials or like buying DVDs and like being like, dude, let's fucking watch this. Like and like getting into comedy for me seems like one of those natural like progression things. Like I was at the right age. I kind of just fell into it. Like it's almost like comedy found me, like type of thing, you know. And then I started doing it, and I was like, I don't think I ever want to stop doing this. Like I told my fiance, I was like, I think this is where I fucking belong. Like while I'm in Phoenix, like I need to fucking do these open mics, work this shit out, get funnier, and fucking see where this can take me here.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's really cool because it's one of the few like things you can do that you can do your entire life. Yeah. Like
when it's something you can do by yourself, right? Like it's not like you need a partner, you don't need to spend money on it. It's like it's just time and write some jokes, get comfortable on stage, get funnier, write funnier jokes, get better. Like it's you don't have to rely on anyone else. Yeah. And it's all up to you. Do your own pace. Like, do as many mics as you want or as little as mics as you want or whatever. Yeah. It's all up to you. It's not like, you know, if you're trying to be a rapper, it's not the same. Yeah. You know, it's like, spend money on mixtapes, fucking try to get people to listen to it. Like, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's weird, like, to be like kind of like coming back to music, you can, I feel like you don't have to do open mics to like progress in music. That may just be I don't know enough about it, but like you can do stuff like on the internet and like release SoundCloud, and it'll, you know, you could get a following through that way.
Right.
Whereas like stand up, you have to be doing it like in person. You can't, you know, there's really no like workaround. Like you can't just do it all at your house.
Right.
Get, you know, the same thing out
Can't
of
just
it.
push it out on the internet.
Yeah,
No one's looking for 5-minute comedy clips to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing it for your dog.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I
Well, yeah, and it's like you can't do it in an empty house. Like you need, part of comedy is the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like it is having that feedback of laughter. And honestly, that's kind of one of the struggles of doing open mics, is like working for comedians' laughter is a lot different than working for people who are there and drinking at a show.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you just do your jokes to 15 people who have heard them before.
Yeah.
And you're like, none of these people are going to laugh, but I got to do all these jokes anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you know? Like, but then you're kind of like, I'm going to fucking find something to get a laugh out of these motherfuckers. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like even more challenging in that sense.
Yeah. And that helps so much like with other stuff, because there's so many components to stand up outside of writing, like stage presence and like crowd work. Like there's so many aspects to it.
Being personable off stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so tough. I can't. I'm very shy, like naturally, so it's like
yeah.
hard. Like that's been like a huge adjustment, like getting out of my comfort zone and like talking to people.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like a natural extrovert.
Yeah.
So that's like, for me, I'm like, dude, give me a joint and a beer, and like I'll be everyone's fucking friend here today. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's like something that comes very natural to me. And sometimes though, I have to remind myself that other people aren't that way. And there's a lot of introverts, and like, because like I feel like I kind of have like kind of like an aggressive personality in that sense. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Let's be friends. And people are like, I don't even want to talk right now, dude. Like, I'm not trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to like think about my jokes before this mic. And I'm like, nah, like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting also like navigating those waters of like the different personalities comedians have.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone comes from such different walks of life.
Yeah.
And everyone's in different age groups. I mean, there's people doing open mics that are 18. And then there's Arizona Lou, who's 78 years old or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's like, I think that's one of my favorite things about it, is like it can be anyone, and it can be like you can come from anywhere, and basically as long as you're funny, you can have like a way to like, you know, keep doing it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And actually, like, it's just, it's cool. It's a cool thing. And like, it always blows me away that this is like something like that's out there and like we're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool to think about.
It is cool.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought about how other people perceive it either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people respect it a lot. Like, people I've talked to that I'm like, yeah, I started doing stand-up. They're like, really? Like, that's brave, man. Like, you, like, fucking get on stage and, like, talk in front of people. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to some people, it's a really big deal. Like,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, I took, like, public speaking in college. I started doing podcasts, which I think has helped. But, like, it's just, like, for me, it's, like, a natural thing to, like, I feel comfortable talking to people and getting up on stage. But, like, a lot of people are, like, I could never fucking do that.
Yeah.
It would shit my pants. Like, you know what I mean?
Is that like a cool feeling? Like kind of like knowing like that's like something like a lot of people. Like,
oh, for
fear.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to, I think it's good to take pride in those kind of things. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing to be like, yeah, not everyone can fucking do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like Mike said when he was here. It's like, because I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I've really only done, like, I started out doing like one mic a week. And he's like, so you could probably count like how many mics you've done, like total. And I was like, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like, if I thought about it, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, well, I mean, even in just doing one a week, like, you've done more than 99.9% of people will ever do in their life.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it's cool. Like I mean, all like, are you? I think too, like just like the more you get into it, like the more you kind of realize, like, I guess like what. Oh fuck! I lost my train. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Oh, you can swear. I don't give a fuck.
I'm not a big. I try not to swear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I swear a lot, and so much. I try not to swear on stage as much as possible.
Oh, I try not to swear on stage unless it's for like emphasis. Like it's almost like use them sparingly to your advantage type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how I think of it. Like I know in most, like I have like a solid 5-minute set right now, and I say fuck once.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when I say it in that line, people are like, oh yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm saying fuck every other sentence.
Right.
I think it gets a little redundant when people just get up there and start swearing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like it. Like, I know our generation, kind of more comfortable with swearing, but a lot of older people don't want to hear you swear.
Yeah.
Like my parents' age of people.
Yeah.
It's just off-putting in general. Like you say fuck once and like, okay, potty mouth. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's nice like when you have it, like it's subtle. Like it's very fun like having like subtle swearing.
Yeah.
To me. I always like whenever I start out with new jokes, I always swear constantly throughout it just because like it's a comfort thing. And then like the more I like progress through it, I'm like, how can I clean this up? How can I clean this up?
Yeah.
Which I like that a lot more because like it's so much harder to write a clean joke than it is to write a dirty joke. You can write dirty and kind of get a little bit more from it, especially like at open mics. Like a lot of times like clean doesn't always work at open mics.
Yeah. So
it's kind of nice like just working through it, and then if you can take it to a different audience, like being able to be clean. At least that's from my experience. That's kind of like how it's been so far.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think my thing is like I write pretty dark jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like part of it for me of like I don't want to swear too much because like I'm already saying some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah. So
I'm like I gotta like sway away from being super dark and swearing the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I've been telling this joke about like not vaccinating your kid and like letting him die to like profit off of him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say the joke on the podcast. But like it's like a pretty dark joke, and a handful of people have been like, dude, that joke is really fucking funny. And I feel like if I swore during it, it would like take away from the joke because of how fucked up it is already.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Like, it's so much easier to be like a cleaner dark joke than like, to swear just to appeal to like more people.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know what it is, but like even when I view comedy like the same way, like if they're swearing and they're saying dark stuff, like it just kind of seems like way like. It seems excessive. Yeah. But I mean that's not all the time, but it's a thought that comes up every now and again.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What like made you get into comedy in the first place?
So I was always big into basketball, and I played throughout high school, and I played a year in college. Well, I redshirted. Which means I was just on the roster to practice. And then, I moved into the dorms right before my sophomore year and was just like, kind of realized like this isn't what I wanted to do. I'm not working that hard at it, like nearly as hard as I need to. So, I ended up, I transferred schools and I moved up to Missoula. And I was kind of like having like a tough time, like initially moving there. Like I'd never really left my hometown. And then, I was just like, well, I always wanted to do stand up. So, just kind of through that, like just like not really having anything that I was really fired up about, just finding something new and trying stuff out. And that was like the biggest thing. Like it just like kind of clicked. And then I just kind of kept doing it. Like it wasn't like initially like I was like, oh, like, gonna do this.
You can be a comedian.
Yeah. It was just kind of like through doing it more and more, I was like, okay, this is like something I'd actually, I'm actually very passionate about.
Yeah.
And that was huge, like, cause like I don't know, like honestly, like I always think about like if I wasn't doing comedy, like I have no idea what I would have done, like just like in general. Like I thought about becoming a geologist there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I had like a mental breakdown, went to one geology class, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is what I want to do.
Really?
Yeah. And just, find ways to keep doing it. And I mean, like even if like nothing comes out of it, like at the end of the day, like I mean, I'm doing something I really enjoy doing, which is really cool.
Totally. And it's one of those things that like you could just treat as a hobby for 30 fucking years, right? If you wanted to, like just have fun with it, like in your evenings.
Yeah, and there's so much you can do with it. You can take it seriously, you can be a hobbyist. Or like, you can even like put on shows. There's so many things you can do with it, which I didn't even realize. Like I thought you just had to be a comedian,
right,
to like be in comedy, and I'm finding out now like there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, I've met people who are just showrunners, just producers of shows, and they're not even comedians.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mellow B.
Yeah.
Mellow B Entertainment.
Yeah.
Like he runs the Bench Bar.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other shit, Lighthouse and whatever. But he's just a guy that fucking likes putting on comedy shows, so he does those,
Yeah. No, and it's cool. Like, I didn't think like I don't know about you, but like I mean, did you have anything like you loved like before? Like what were you passionate about like before you found comedy?
Movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's all I've ever thought. Even during college, that's all I focused on. All I want to do is make movies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like I've written like 9 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I got a degree in. But outside of that, like, I mean, I have the standard hobbies. I play video games and like listen to podcasts and shit. But nothing like movies are for me like something I've always like. I take them seriously and like I watch movies seriously. Like I dissect them. Like studying screenwriting. I can picture the script in my head while I'm watching a movie, like why the writer wrote this, why the director did this, type of shit. But that's not something that like you can just do by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't make a movie by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you have to have at least one other person to hold the camera while you're doing shit.
Yeah.
So it's like movies for me is something like I watch the Oscars, watch the Golden Globes. Like I love movies. I follow movies really, really passionately. I've thought about doing just a movie podcast, like just a movie review podcast. But there's fucking a million of them,
Yeah.
But other than that, like I've never had something that I was like, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, other than movies.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I never knew what I wanted to do. Like I know, like meeting people like Tristan, like he's like, I've wanted to be a comedian for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And I was never like that. I was never like, yeah, I'm gonna be a comedian when I grow up or anything. But I never knew what I wanted to do when I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went to college and I was studying business. I studied business. I went to community college for a year and a half, and then my first semester at NAU, I was a business major. So I was in business law. I was in accounting. I was in, I don't know, whatever the fuck other business classes I was in, and they were really interesting to me. But like in college, at some point, I was like, I don't want to do this shit for the rest of my life. Like I was in a coding class, like studying computer stuff. Also, and I was like, this isn't like, if I'm gonna pay $40,000 for a degree, like I want to do something fun and that I'm interested in. So I went through like the majors and found cinema, like it was called electric media and film, or electronic media and film. That's what my degree is in. So it's like I studied radio and all that other shit too, not just movies. But that to me, I was like, fuck yeah, I could like make movies for life and like get a degree in movies. Like, fuck yeah, that sounds badass, you know?
Yeah.
And then like reality hit of like, I mean, like I can't afford to move to Hollywood when I'm 22. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I gonna do with a film degree? You know?
Yeah.
Then I've just been doing IT stuff and working, and I started podcasting, and this is like the only thing I'm like, I fucking love podcasting.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy sitting down and just talking to someone for 2 or 3 hours. Like, it's not something that's normal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like this used to be a normal thing for centuries of human civilization.
Yeah.
Because no one had other shit to do. There wasn't the internet. Like, the radio was one thing, but even that was like 4 radio programs that people listened to. Everyone listened to the same shit, Like,
Yeah.
and it's like people have really lost their way in like just sitting down and talking to someone else.
Yeah.
And like getting to know someone. So podcasting for me was like, I was like, I'm gonna spend the money and I'm gonna do fucking podcasts like for a while.
Yeah. And there's like, it's weird too, because like kind of like being in the generation we're in, like if you wanted to do like what you're doing now, for the most part, you'd have to get involved with the radio. You know what I mean? Like you'd have to be like a DJ or something. And like now, podcasting, you can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can upload it, which is really cool because you have so many ways to hear different opinions, so many ways to hear like different voices.
Yeah.
Which I think like it's so cool. Like, I mean, like just like the fact that it's out there and it's available,
Right.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. It's a fucking crazy time to be alive, man.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing about podcasting is like, this could all be gone in a year.
Yeah.
Like, like it could just change. Like, oh, there's a new fucking art form. Because podcasts only came around 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, people basically are doing radio shows and just put them online.
See, I don't think it's going to be something that really disappears because...
Oh, I don't think it will, but I'm just saying, like, it could.
Yeah,
like,
that's
something
true.
could
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, yeah. That's what scares me now is like...
The Federal Communications Commission, FCC,
yeah.
could get involved and be like, you can't fucking legally do a podcast without a license anymore.
Oh, that would be such a bummer.
It's just like having a radio show. You know what I mean?
That's true.
It's like the last unregulated like media. Like that's the crazy thing about the internet is like it really is the wild wild west.
Yeah.
Like there's no regulation, there's no fingers in it other than the owners of the company.
Yeah.
Like other than Twitter kicking you off of Twitter, no one's going to kick you off of Twitter for anything you do. You can do anything you want on Twitter unless you fucking, post Nazi signs or whatever the fuck their rules are.
Yeah, I mean that seems nat. You're not gonna post Nazi signs on this podcast, are you?
Right? No, I'm not.
I've never even thought about that, like FCC and stuff, like with podcasts. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
See,
crazy.
I studied all that stuff in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually we made a podcast in college because like I told you, like I was involved with like a lot of radio stuff, and it's crazy like how much, because we did ours, like it wasn't like a normal podcast. It was just like we did radio stories, like NPR style stories.
Okay.
And then we just like commented on it, and it was like it was about a school. It was like an alternative high school up in Missoula, and it's cool because like just being able to do radio stories and stuff, like there's a lot of stuff you can do with podcasting, like outside of like just having conversation. Like there's ways to.
There's fictional podcasts.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, Serial is one of the biggest podcasts in the world.
That was insane. I listened to the first episode of Serial, and this is an embarrassing flex, but I listened to the first episode and I was like so hooked, and then I just, because I had to do it for an assignment, and I listened to it hooked, and then like after that I just forgot about it. But I've like asked so many people, I was like, what happened? And I've got the gist of it now. I don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, but there's podcasts. I mean, there's just comedy podcasts where they just pull up shit and make fun of it, like Your Mom's House.
Yeah.
I mean, there's podcasts where people just do them by themselves.
Yeah.
And just talk, and I mean, they just pull up news articles and talk about them. I mean, there's people who like Potterless. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's a guy who's never read Harry Potter before, So he starts reading. He like reads one chapter at a time and like does a podcast about it. Has people on to discuss like it, and he's huge. Like he has a huge fan base.
That's insane. That's
Yeah.
so cool though. That's a
He's
good
like,
idea.
He's like, I never watched Harry Potter growing up, and I'm in my like late 20s now, and I'm finally gonna do it, and I'm making a podcast, and he's been doing it for like years now.
Yeah. One of the ones I always come back to is it was these guys in Australia, and they watched Grown Ups 2
Okay.
every week for a full year, and then they like talked about it like kind of, I think it was a podcast, but they were, or maybe it was a blog, but they were watching they watched like this, just Grown Ups 2 every week, and it's funny, like there's I think it's like a Vice article or something
Really?
about it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's so random.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do the weirdest shit on podcasts, dude.
Yeah.
Like, those two chicks in New York do the guys we fucked, and it's just two chicks talking about all the guys they fucked, and they're huge. Like they are on Joe Rogan, and
Yeah.
like they're two comedian chicks from New York,
Yeah.
but it's like talking about dick and like pussies and shit. It's all their podcast is.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, like whatever, dude. I'm not gonna say anything they say, but.
No, it's
weird.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a podcast for every topic.
Yeah.
And now sports teams have podcasts. There's fans who have made sports podcasts and gotten like famous from them.
Yeah.
That are like now the like official like, Angels podcast and shit like that.
Yeah. And it's cool, like there's so many ways to just like branch out now. And I very much enjoy it. Like there's so many outlets you can utilize. I don't take nearly advantage as much as, like it's weird, like for doing stand up, I don't take advantage of like anything else, like really.
Yeah.
Like for the most part. Like I know I should just to have something else, but like outside of like performing in front of people, it's different for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally understand. It's a big deal, dude. Like, just like the older I get, spending time on anything is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You only have so many hours in the day. Like, sometimes, like, that's why I didn't do podcasts for, like, months at a time.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, like, I'm doing other shit. I started doing comedy. Like,
Yeah.
they went on vacation. Like, whatever. It's, like, there's only so much time you can put into different shit. And it's, like, something like comedy. It's, like, you could just put all your eggs in one basket. Like, I'm going to be the best fucking comedian. You don't have time to worry about doing a podcast or like worrying about your social media and shit like that,
Yeah. I think it is like there does come a time like when it becomes important.
Yeah.
Like when you like reach the stage, because with comedy, like there's so many ways to get really good at comedy now. I think you kind of have to have something to help you stand out initially.
Yeah.
Which it's you just got to find like your niche.
Yeah.
Niche. I hate that word. I always try to avoid it in the conversation as much as possible.
Yeah. I don't know. It might just be your niche. I don't know. It depends on who you ask, I guess. Different accent.
Yeah. It's the Montana in me. That's how we pronounce it up there. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, like there's so many, you just got to have something to stand out, which is, it's weird that's something I think about a lot too, because like, you always have to have a way to like set yourself apart at the end of the day, like outside of comedy. I think, just because like the way it's kind of evolving, like you mentioned like podcasts, like if you're a comedian with a really good podcast, that's like a way to get, kind of an in.
Yeah.
But unless you have like something else, it's harder. It's still like doable.
Yeah.
But I think it's just easier to have something else, like just to kind of get your foot in the door. But I mean, I'm still very new to it. I'm still very green. So like anytime like I share an opinion about it, I'm always like, fuck, I don't know if that's real or not.
It's crazy that you say that and you've been doing comedy for 3 years. And you're like, I'm still new. I'm 7 months in and I just still feel so new, dude. Like, or 8 months in or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, when do you stop feeling new? Like,
They say it takes like 10 years before like you like truly master the craft, or I can't think of the exact verbiage, but it's like, about like 10 years.
Yeah.
Which that's so weird to think.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It's like I've never done anything for 10 fucking years.
No, yeah. And like the fact like you can do 10 years and just starting to like find your voice,
Right.
which that's so crazy.
But I would also argue that part of that comes into age, and also like how many mics you do and how serious you take it.
Yeah.
And things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've met people who are like featuring at like Tempe Improv or things like that, that have only been doing it like 4 or 5 years, and they're like way ahead of the game, like clearly ahead of the game. But then I've met people at open mics who are like 6 years in and probably will be open micers for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's also, you kind of get out of it what you put into it in that sense.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, and I think that's like you said Michael was saying like you just got to do it more.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where it comes in. Like, you know, you do have to grind with it. Just from like everyone I've heard who's like actually like, you know, kind of doing it, you know, as a career and like ways to make it. I think like you do have to put in a lot of time into it.
Oh yeah.
Which, you know, it's cool, you know, that like that's, you know, it's one of the few things like where you don't, or where you actually get what you put into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can, I don't know if that's, actually I take that back. I feel like there's a lot of things you can put into it.
Yeah.
You'll get what you put into it, but you get what I'm saying?
Right. And
Yeah.
like what I was saying, it's like people doing it for 6 years, like some people just want to do open mics and they don't want to feature at clubs, and they're not trying to do that. Like they're not actively trying to get booked on shows.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just having fun with it or whatever. Like there's all those different like areas of comedy of like different people looking for different things and have goals in mind of what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think, like, I know what you mean by, like, when you talk about it, you don't know, like, how it sounds, because it's like, you're 3 years in, and, like, you're still new.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you'll ever not feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'll ever feel like, even 10 years from now, if I'll feel like an authority on comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could give people advice. I think I'll still be like, I don't know, man. I'm only 10 years in. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's also just part of comedy of like, you don't want to, there's so many people who do it and know more than you, and there's always going to be,
Yeah.
that you don't want to act like what you say is like definitive.
Yeah. And that's like another thing, like that's really, everyone's journey is so different.
Yeah.
You just got to find what works for you. And if you are like, you know, starting to see progress and you're starting to see like you're reaching like your own personal goals,
Yeah.
I think that's like the biggest way with it, because like everyone's goals are going to be so different. And that's like another thing I found, setting goals for myself. I was never like a short-term goal setter.
Yeah.
It like setting goals like month to month, week to week have been like some of the biggest things for me, like just like going forward. And that's like another thing, like when I talk about it, I can only speak from my own experience,
For sure.
which, you know, it sounds, that's why I hate like ever like talking about
It's
it.
impossible to say what's best for someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I always hate talking about it because I just bring it back to myself, which I always hate doing that.
But you have to. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just part of being human, and like it's all you can say is your personal experience, and that's what bothers me a lot about like our current society we're in, is that like there's a lot of people bashing people for having a unique opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's dumb. Why do you think that way? And it's like, well, I don't know. I just think that way.
Yeah.
It's like, what's wrong with that? Why can't I think that way? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that's super vague, but I mean, like, there's so many topics these days where it's like, how can you think that about abortion? How could you think that about gay people? How could you think that about school? How could you think that about the government or whatever?
Yeah.
You have to think my way. You're an idiot. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's so much of that these days that a lot of people get kind of scared about, like, sharing their opinion about things. Like,
Yeah.
and it's weird. Like, it's like the social waters of like our generation right now with the internet, and like people getting canceled for tweets that are 10 years old, and like like, how's that fair? Like, you can't grow as a person in 10 years?
Yeah, like
You can't say some fucked up shit when you're young and then regret it when you're older? Like,
yeah,
isn't that part of just being a person?
that's like this is like kind of like with the Kobe Bryant thing. Like I don't mean to bring him up, like
No, you're
rest in
good.
peace, but like so many people, like after he passed away, like we're bringing up like the rape case,
Right.
but it's so shitty, like that I really think it's shitty that people did that, because like after the fact he did so much like to better himself. Like he started like doing way more for women than most people have, and
Right.
like he was one of the biggest ambassadors for women's basketball.
Right.
And I don't think that you do that unless you learned from your mistakes.
Right.
So that's like, that kind of coming back to that, like with cancel culture, like it's harder to like, no one forgets now, which sucks, because like if you want to better yourself, you can't do it. Like
you need people to forget.
yeah, like Michael Vick.
Like, if you shit your pants, don't you want people to let that go?
Oh, 100%. Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just in general, like, maybe it's a bad example, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a very
Like,
good.
it's like you shit yourself one time. It's like you don't, like, you want to be invited to the next party.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want people, oh, fucking Zach shits himself, so we're not inviting him anymore. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, well, what the fuck, man? It was one time. Like,
Yeah, dude, I 100%. First day of college, my junior year or sophomore year, junior year, sorry. I was sitting in class and kind of felt sick to my stomach.
really?
And I was like, oh, I'm just going to let it pass by. Just kind of waited it out, and then like got like another like urge in my stomach. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wait this one out, because I was like 10 minutes into class at this point. And it was the first day of class. I didn't want to be the guy that gets up to use the bathroom 10 minutes into the first day of class.
Yeah.
And then the third time came, and I was like, oh, like this isn't a false alarm. So I got up, went to the bathroom, and as soon as I got into the bathroom, just shit my pants.
Just let it go.
Well, I made it it got on the toilet. It got like on my underwear. Thankfully, I was wearing black shorts, but I didn't know what to do, because like I threw away my underwear and I just like cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
But my backpack was in the classroom, so I couldn't just leave.
Oh, fuck.
So I texted one of the kids I had in class, and I was just like, hey, man, I have food poisoning. Can you bring my backpack? And he brought it in, and then I lowered my backpack so it like covered up my ass, and then just walked home. And then I went out that night, and then like one of the people from my class were like, oh, are you feeling better? And I was like, yeah, I just felt a little sick. And
Oh, my God.
so, and like I didn't tell so many people. I told my roommate, I was like, I just had the worst like first day experience. Like, if I'm so glad that happened to me then, because if that happened to me in high school or like elementary school,
Oh, yeah, it's scarring.
yeah,
You don't know how to deal with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was smart too. I learned from the other kids who shit themselves
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah, but like that, dude. Like, if people found out about it and like you just got kicked out of class,
Yeah.
you're not allowed in this class anymore, you pants shitter.
We don't want pants shitters.
It's like, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like the weirdest thing. Like, I totally get it. Like, coming back full circle on this subject, I totally get like not wanting to share your opinion about like comedy, or like saying things like matter of fact, like this is how it is.
Yeah.
But part of me thinks it's good, like, and that's why I'm trying to like talk about it on my podcast more, because I'm like just new to comedy, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to come back and listen to these 4 years from now and be like, man, I sounded like a fucking idiot, or yeah, no, it's still the same, like
Yeah.
type of shit, like.
But I think
kind of.
I think that's going to be natural. Like I did a podcast like only being 2 years in, and now like I listen to it and it's very cringeworthy
Right.
for me. So it's, even like if, I think it's just you always evolve as a comic,
Yeah.
and your opinions are always going to change,
Totally.
which is I think is, there's so much room for growth in it.
Yeah.
Like just like every day you're going to learn something. Whereas like if I go to my job, I may learn something like once every like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, I haven't learned something new in my job in a while.
Yeah.
Just because it's like I learned everything and now I teach other people how to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, comedy, it's like every time I do a mic, I take something away from it.
Yeah.
Like whether it was like, you moved too much. You said 5 times. Like, you looked left more than right too much. Like, shit like that.
Yeah.
Just like little shit that's like when I started, I was walking around a lot.
Yeah.
And it was just because it was comfortable. Moving helped me not feel as awkward. But now, I'm like, no, I need to stand here and like stop being so fucking distracting to the audience and like fucking hit my marks and do my jokes and not be so fidgety. And now I'm like more comfortable standing still. Just shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was your first mic, was it at Improv Mania?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I was there for that actually.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or probably my second or third for sure. My first mic there, I signed up last.
Okay.
And I went up probably at like 10:30.
Yeah.
And there was 2 or 3 people there.
Okay.
And then like the next week, I probably went up like number 8 spot or something.
Yeah. And that was like back when they did the sign-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting outside like waiting in the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in fucking July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had so many times like when I first moved here where it was just like me performing to Ryan and Tony.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like. Looking back at it, I hated it at the time, but like looking back at it, like that's actually like very cool. Like I mean, like, you know, you'll look back at, I don't know if you'll look back at it like with the same way, but for me it's like very cool, like looking back and saying like I had 2 people in an audience.
Yeah.
And the fact that I still felt compelled to wait, you know, hours upon hours.
Oh yeah, dude.
And go up. That's always.
I was
cool
committed.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's honestly, it's one of the most respectable things, in my opinion, that like I respect people for. Like I might not like everyone's jokes. I might not get along with everyone, but I respect that we're in that shit together and that we're all putting in the time to be there and waiting and supporting each other. And like, it's like, I mean, you can commit 4 hours to one open mic.
Yeah.
For 5 minutes of stage time.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a respectable thing about comedians. Like, who the fuck else does that other than, you know, crazy white people waiting for Chick-fil-A to open?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. No.
who waits in line and sits there for 4 hours to do anything anymore?
Yeah.
Like,
and especially for a little payoff. Because, I mean, when you're doing 5 minutes, you're only going to be performing it for like 2 people sometimes.
Totally.
2 people are engaging, so it's not even like
you just did Bubba's Mike at the Grand on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so did I.
Yeah.
But when I got there, I signed up 15th.
Yeah.
And I left.
Yeah.
Because the signups are at 7. And 2 weeks before that, I signed up the 8th spot. And I didn't go up till 9:45.
Yeah.
Because Bubba was talking a lot that night. And I think some of the booked people went over their time.
Yeah.
And like sometimes people just run the light and fucking take too long and you get pushed back a lot.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm 15th on the list. And I saw you were like 3rd. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
It was like fucking 15th.
Yeah.
And that was the night the Oscars were on.
Okay.
And the Oscars to me are like, that's like a holiday.
Yeah.
So I came home and watched the Oscars.
Yeah.
And knowing that I didn't go on until 9:45 2 weeks before that, I was like, if I get back up there by 9:50, 10 o'clock, like I'll be golden for his 15th spot.
Yeah.
And I got back up there and Bubba was already on like number 22, like skipped me and shit. Like a couple people didn't like come and like, so I felt horrible.
Yeah.
But like for me, that was like either sit here and hang out with comics for 3, potentially 4 hours until I go on.
Yeah.
Or just come home and like enjoy the Oscars. And like sometimes that's like part of like the hard thing about like sitting at mics is like there's other shit I want to do in this 2-hour window of time.
Yeah.
Rather than fucking sit here.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing, like when I first moved down here, I was like very much the same way. Like I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time at the mic.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what else am I gonna do? Because I didn't know anyone.
Right.
And then just kind of like sticking through it. it's crazy. Like now, like I actually like look forward to like, you know, certain mics. Like I look forward to like hanging out before I look forward to like the conversations. And it's weird, just kind of you start seeing like the same people, you know, consistently, and like you kind of start forming like smaller relationships, and then it just kind of builds and builds. And it's weird, like just kind of how that works. Like, and part of it too, I think, is like it's like a respect thing. Like if you're, you know, consistently going up, like I think there's like a respect that comes with it. You know, just because like it's like, all right, they're doing it, you know.
Totally. Yeah, I really look forward to hanging out with comics. And when I started doing open mics, my fiance was coming with me, like, to all of them.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. I mean, it was dope, you know, walking into a new building and signing up and having someone to sit there and hang out with.
Yeah.
But it prevented me from hanging out with comics.
Yeah.
Not like entirely. Like, it's not like she doesn't want to talk to anyone. It's not like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as just being able to roam and be like, hey, I'm Jeremy. Hey, I'm Jeremy. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
So, like, now she'll pretty much just come to, like, my booked shows.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, coming with me to open mics. Because it's, like, open mics is, like, it's nice to sit there and just hang out and make friends and fucking get to know people for 2 or 3 hours and chill. Like, and I like staying. I think a lot of it, like, I like staying till the end if I can, like, if I have time. Because I think it's nice to stay for those comics who fucking stuck it out for 2 hours and are going up last to 4 people.
Yeah.
And I can like staying to the end and like trying to like smoke weed with people and shit and be like, hey man, I got a joint in my car. Like, let's fucking hang out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big part of comedy that I don't know, that I think a lot of people overlook. Like, I've noticed a lot of people, I mean, and I get it, people are busy, people have different shit going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do a mic and walk out the door immediately.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of times, like, if I'm doing that, typically it's like if I have something after.
Right.
Or if it's like an outdoor mic, if it's like Devil's Advocate lately. I've been leaving so early just because it's been outside and it's been cold.
And yeah. Of course.
Which is so depressing.
Same in the summer, dude. It's miserable sitting out there and it's fucking 95 degrees outside and shit.
Yeah. And some of them, they get the misters. Like, I think Devil's Ad has the misters in the summer, and that's so clutch. You need that, like when it's like 110 with the sun down.
For sure. You don't think about that shit. But, dude, as someone who wears glasses, drives me insane.
Yeah.
Because then I'm fucking constantly taking them off and wiping the fucking little mist off of them and shit. I can't see.
Like, I wear glasses too, so I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm contacts. I've never performed in glasses before.
Really?
Yeah.
I stopped wearing contacts in college simply because I couldn't afford them.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of those things where, like, I just started paying. Like, as soon as I moved out of my parents' house, like, I paid all my own bills. And I still do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things for me where in college, I was like, contacts are $200 and my glasses are $200.
Yeah.
I have to pick one, and it's going to be the glasses.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
And, and then I tried to get back into them, and they hurt my eyes too much now. And, like, I need to suck it up and wear them for, like, 2 weeks straight so I get used to it again.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, it's such a commitment.
Yeah. See, I went the opposite direction. I stuck with contacts, and I have the same pair of glasses I had as a freshman in high school.
Oh, Jesus. You need some new ones, dude.
I know.
Your eyes have changed.
They're so crooked. Well, I updated the lenses, like, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good decision, but it's so weird. Like, they're crooked. They're scratched. They look terrible.
Yeah, I've fucked up some glasses, dude. Like, I mean, I go to a lot of, like, metal shows and stuff.
Okay.
Or at least I used to with my friends in Flagstaff. But, yeah, I've broken at least 2 pairs of glasses at shows. One, I just got socked right in the face. Glasses went flying. Someone stepped on them. By the time I got them, they had one of the lenses in. And, the arm was just pointed to the side. One of them snapped off. And, like, I found the lens, and, like, I got, like, a merch guy to help me tape them back together at the show.
So you could actually, like, see the concert, like, when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I put the glasses back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, taped together.
That's so funny.
But, yeah, I mean, fuck. I would love to wear contacts again. It's kind of just like part of getting older. Of like, fuck, what's the priority here? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't fucking do it. But now I'm so used to my glasses that it's weird when I do wear contacts. Like, I do have some contacts.
Yeah.
I'll wear them to like sporting events and stuff. But like it's weird. Like I feel like a different person.
Yeah.
Like Clark Kent and Superman. You
Yeah.
know? It's weird.
Yeah. My thing is like I'll wear them like if I'm like going somewhere where I like it like always, because I'm single, so like it always comes down to like what's gonna be like most attractive.
Yeah.
And if I'm like going to an environment where I think like glasses are gonna be more attractive, I'll like 100% like consciously make the decision to wear my glasses.
Oh, that's a big thing, dude. Like they've done psychology studies on that. Like
Yeah.
it's proven that if you wear glasses to an interview, you're more likely to get the job.
Really?
Yeah. Because people perceive you as smarter.
That makes sense actually.
Just as like a basic instinct.
I may start doing that.
Yeah. I have a buddy who studied psychology.
Yeah.
He got a psychology degree, and he has fake glasses without lenses that he wears to interviews.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, they just have like glass in them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
That's
Clear,
so crazy.
Just plain glasses.
How long does he keep up the charade for? Does he just
wears them to the interview.
Just the interview?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a proven thing. It's weird, man. It's weird. That's my favorite part of podcasts is learning things like that.
Yeah.
Like listening to like Joe Rogan had this like sleep doctor on.
Yeah.
I don't know, like what podcast do you listen to?
I don't listen to a lot. The one I listen to, if I listen to any, it's normally either stand-ups with Chris Stefano.
Okay.
And then
I love Chris Stefano.
I love that pod. Yeah, he's funny.
So funny.
Yeah. And then it's Who Cares About the Rock Hall? It's about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's two comedians out in LA. It's Joe Quazala and I can't Kristen. Damn it, I can't think of her name.
Oh,
right now.
bro, I got the Google machine right here. What's it called?
Who Cares About the Rock Hall?
Who Cares About the Rock Hall?
And they just talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Kristen Stewart and Joe
Quazala. Yeah. And he just had it was a Comedy Central Presents special, and she was on one of the sketch shows. It was the one with the baby. It was the baby of the year. It's on Netflix. I can't think of what it's called. But it's a very good podcast because they just talk about music like the whole time, and it's all like what's it called? Thank you. Think you should leave. I think you should leave.
I think you should leave.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of it, but I've seen like a couple sketches.
I haven't heard of this. I'm gonna have to check this out. I didn't know there was this show on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think you should leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. I love sketch shows, dude. That's kind of one thing I miss from being a kid. Like, I mean, you might be too young, actually. Like, do you remember Comedy Central as a kid?
Oh yeah, like I had stepbrothers who were older than me.
Okay.
So they got me. That's actually one of the ways I got into stand up because they were always watching Chappelle's show, Dave Chappelle, SNL. Trying to think some of the others. Kroll show. That was kind of.
I'm blanking on the show that I wanted to talk about right now.
That Tosh.0 was huge when I was in high school.
Oh yeah. I saw Tosh. He came to NAU.
Okay.
Twice. I've seen him twice.
Yeah.
And that was like when his show in like the first couple seasons, he did like those college tours.
Yeah.
During the summer.
Yeah.
He came to NAU during his college tour.
Oh, that's so sweet.
He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I saw him. It was at Comerica back in October. Nice. And he crushed it. It was so good.
I saw Dane Cook there like the week after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. I would love to see Dane Cook.
Oh, that was the weekend of my birthday. We went the day before my birthday. My best friends came down from Flagstaff. Because I'm from Lake Havasu. I don't know if you know where Lake Havasu is.
I know where it is. I didn't know you were from there.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
So me and my like best friends all moved to Flagstaff together for like
Okay.
college and shit. So they still live there, but they came down here for Dane Cook because I saw he was going on tour, and that's, I mean, who we listened to in middle school and high school, like
Yeah.
Dane Cook.
Yeah.
And that was just like his iTunes albums, you know. I owned his DVDs, and I remember us like watching them as kids, you know.
Yeah.
And when he announced his like new tour, I was like, I'm fucking buying tickets like immediately. And I texted my buddies, and I was like, dude, it's the weekend of my birthday. You fucking idiots are coming down. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it was awesome, man. Like, it was more like nostalgic, I think, than anything.
Yeah.
I won't say he was like even the top like 5 comedy shows I've been to.
Yeah.
But like, I loved it, man. Just
Yeah.
sitting there and watching Dane Cook, like 15 years after like listening to like Vicious Circle and shit.
Yeah.
It was rad.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. We should go to a comedy show sometime, man.
I try to go to, 1 or 2 a month. There was a period where I was going to 1 every week.
Yeah.
Because we get free tickets, like, to a lot of them, and that's like really cool. Like, it's really helpful. Like, do you ever go to CB Live?
On Mondays?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been there fucking twice, and
Okay.
I didn't get on. But now they stopped it, and do you know if they're starting it up again?
Oh, they're thinking about. I don't know. Like,
I read on
exacts
Trevor
of it.
Sky's website that it might move to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been meaning to go up there. I actually went up there the night it closed. The 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The first night it was done.
Yeah.
And that's a mic that I told my fiance, I was like, I have to go every fucking Monday to this mic.
Yeah. No, that's like far and away like one of the best ones to go to, just because you get the feedback and you get a lot to learn from it.
That was for me though. One of those mics I was a little too intimidated to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I'm not ready to like go try to like impress Casey and fucking like.
Yeah.
But I know you've been killing it there because you got on the best of the open mic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like the thing, is just like that was like where I got like a lot of my confidence from.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I didn't have like goals, like day-to-day goals with comedy. I was just doing it when I first moved here, and then like once I started like going up there and like getting notes on it, that like helps so much, just like with figuring out like what direction to go. And that's helped a lot, like just like with like the writing beyond that. It's like one of the few where you're getting like feedback every time.
Yeah.
And it gives a lot of direction, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's very big.
It's funny because that's what Ross told me.
Yeah.
That he really enjoyed getting like Casey's feedback. Casey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like not saying that wrong.
No.
I've never met the guy. But yeah, I want to start going to that regularly because for me it was like I gave stand up a shot, and like my first time doing it, I was like, I love this shit.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna come back every fucking week. But for me, it was like I have a fiance. We're getting married in December.
Congrats, by the way.
Oh,
I
thank
haven't told
you.
you that. Yeah.
And like we just have a lot of shit going on, I travel for work. Like I'm going back to Ohio in 2 weeks. I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And comedy for me wasn't something that I knew like I'm gonna fucking go full throttle on this shit and try to do it 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I have the confidence and I'm comfortable on stage, and I have like a solid 8 minutes ish.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel comfortable doing. And so now I'm to the point where I'm like, I can go out and do more open mics and be comfortable and try to get on like those Monday shows and try to like, work with someone like Casey and kind of take his notes more seriously.
Yeah.
And things like that,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if 4 months ago, if someone gave me notes on my performance, if I would have even fucking cared.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, like you wouldn't, like I know for me, like when I was like at that stage, I wouldn't have known what direction to even take it with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even like positive feedback. I wouldn't really know like what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's smart, like in the sense, like kind of like figure out like how to take advantage of it more than anything.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, like regardless, like it's gonna be like a good opportunity, you know, to get out in front of
For
people.
sure. And it's honestly, it's kind of awkward. I mean, it is still kind of awkward telling people, like, yeah, I've been doing stand-up since July.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, that's not very long, dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't like telling people that, and I like just getting up and making them laugh and then telling them afterwards.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, man, that was great. Like, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, 7 months. I'm like, 7 months? Like, that's...
Yeah.
You did great for 7 months, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, in that sense, like, it's like, I don't know, setting that expectation ahead of time rather than at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd rather, like, now I feel like I'm to a point I could get some solid laughs at Copper Blues. Oh yeah, there's beer in that fridge right behind you.
Sorry.
No, you're good, dude. Yeah, will you grab me a Corona out of there? I don't know if there's another kilt lifter in there, but there's some Sam Adams, I'm pretty sure, in that Dr. Pepper fridge.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it gets stuck on the carpet. You can just pull it open. Some Sam Adams on the door there. I don't know what else is in there. That might be a kilt lifter.
I think that is.
Solid. Dude, I love kilt lifter. It's one of my favorite beers.
That's like a...
Thank you, sir. So how long have you been lying to people and saying you don't smoke weed? No, I'm just kidding. Have you never smoked weed before? I was going to ask you. I was going to put you on the spot. That's the funny thing about podcasts is, like, you can just ask people anything, and it's like, dude, the mic's running, bro. You know?
Yeah. No, I actually, I went through a stoner phase when I was in college.
Oh, okay.
And then I never drank, never smoked weed in high school. Like, I had, like, 1 or 2 times where I did, but it wasn't, like, you know, it was just to, like, try it.
Yeah.
And then I got to college, got really big into it, and then I just started...
Pull that shit, like, right up to your mouth.
Yeah. I got a scoop.
Keep that notch right in front of you.
But I started having, like, high anxiety attacks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it just wasn't a good fit for me. And since I was kind of... I think part of it, too, is, like, where I was at in my life.
Yeah.
And then once I stopped, I started feeling a lot better. So it's like, shit, I probably should just stop doing this. So I haven't done it. I've done it once since I moved down here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried, like, more of, like, a CBD strain? Because I think, I mean, in my own personal opinion, I think a lot of people are having trouble with that. Like, one of my buddies, Tyler, stopped smoking weed because he gets really bad anxiety, like, really fucking bad. Like, panic attacks, like... And, I mean, he was a huge stoner. But honestly, I think the strength of the weed is the problem.
Yeah.
Because he started smoking, like, they sell cartridges that are 4-to-1, CBD to THC. So it's, whatever that fucking percentage is, it's like 65% CBD.
Yeah.
And then, like, 20% THC. So it gets you, like, a little stoned. But the CBD is super relaxing. So I wonder if you could, like, benefit from something like that that's just, like, a mild level of THC. So you're not just getting, like, super fucking stoned.
Yeah. Well, my thing, too, is, like, I don't even know if I want to get back into it. Because, like,
fair.
When I was, like, smoking, I was, like, so lazy.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I mean, like, it doesn't do that for everyone. But, like...
Everyone's different, dude.
Yeah. So for me, it was, like, I was lazy and I was, like, eating a lot. I was gaining weight.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I stopped, I started, like, losing a lot more weight.
It's for sure a problem on my belly, dude.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Really?
Like, just munchies at night and shit that, you know? Like, like, no, I should not eat ice cream right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly, getting a nicotine addiction has been, like, one of the best things for me to lose weight, which sucks to say.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude, you're so tall. You could gain 50 pounds and you probably wouldn't even look like it.
Maybe. I'm
6 foot, and how tall are you?
6'4".
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You probably weigh, let me guess here, dude. I'm guessing you weigh like 160.
I'm 175. A thick 175.
What? Dude, you're not thick at all, dude.
I am thick.
You're like skin and bones, bro.
I can only put, for the camera. That's how far
Yeah,
I can put my hand.
Solid 100 pounds more than you do.
I used to be, so when I quit basketball, I was 215 because I was like lifting all the time.
I saw the pictures of you. I was looking on your Instagram earlier today, getting ready for the podcast.
Yeah.
That's how I knew you had short hair.
Yeah. And it was tough because like as soon as I quit playing, I stopped lifting like altogether.
Of course, yeah.
And then it just turned into fat, so I was just like 215 and like.
But you just have kind of one of those natural, like slim bodies. You've always been probably naturally skinny, huh?
Yeah. It was like.
I'm like naturally thicker. Like I have really broad shoulders.
Yeah.
Like my upper body is like more than half of my body because I have really short legs.
Really?
Yeah, so like my pants, like I don't know what the length of your pants are, like your inseam, 36, 38 or some shit.
36, hard flex.
Okay.
Very.
My legs are 29.
Really?
Yeah.
But what size, like what's your, like do you wear like a long shirt though?
Yeah, like 48 long.
Yeah.
Yeah, my upper body is substantially larger than my lower body.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I've like always been like kind of like just naturally larger because my upper body is larger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense though. Like I get all my tattoos on my leg.
I didn't know you had any tattoos.
They're all in my thighs.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Take those pants off. Let me see. I'm just kidding, dude.
I always that is like one of the things. Like whenever like I
hook up with a chick.
Yeah, she's always like, "Oh, what's that?" And like I'm like, "Oh, these are my tattoos." And like some of them they like, and then like other ones are like, "That's kind of weird."
Yeah.
And so that's what I like about them. Like they're just for me. But like the main reason I got them on my leg is like I was thinking like if I ever gain weight, that's like going to be the one part of my body that never stretches.
That's so funny.
Because like even when my dad got bigger, it was only in his like upper body. He never got like his legs were always the same size like every time I've known it, or like for the whole time I've known him, which is all my life.
That's interesting. I don't know if I've ever met someone who just has tattoos on their thighs. Are you gonna ever get any more?
Oh yeah, I have 5, and I'm trying to fill up my entire right thigh.
Oh, okay.
Just because I don't know, it's always cool to me.
Half sleeve it.
Yeah, I think it's very cool that no one knows I'm tattooed.
It is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty obviously tattooed.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of tattoos that people never see. Like I have a jack-o'-lantern on my ankle.
I love that.
Like I have a tattoo on my foot.
Yeah.
Like Superman on my leg.
That's, is that all the way around?
Yeah, the Daily Planets on the back.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, but like a lot of people, I wear pants, and I wear pants to work.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I've had coworkers, that I've known for 4 years that don't know I have a Superman tattoo on my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's like my favorite thing about it. Like it's just for you.
Yeah,
you know what
totally.
I mean? Yeah.
And I think tattoos should just be for you. Like,
yeah.
I tell people all the time. Like I wrote this joke about it, and I don't really know how to work it out on stage yet, but. Like I got tattoos for me. I don't give a fuck about yours.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote it like, girls always come up to me like, "Can I see your tattoos?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, why the fuck do you need to see them?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, do you want to see mine?" And I'm like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
I don't fucking care about your tattoos. It's like hanging art in your house.
Yeah.
Like, I hang art that I like. I don't give a shit if you're going to come over and like my art. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, that's how I feel about tattoos.
Yeah. I like that yours are in color, too. I love color tattoos.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite. My plan, before my tattoo artist went to prison, my plan was to tattoo this arm in all dark colors.
Yeah.
And, then tattoo this one in like really light colors.
Yeah.
So it'd be like a very strong like contradiction.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think about doing that every once in a while with my left one too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like just all color and then like black and white.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool too.
Yeah. When did you get your first one?
17.
Okay.
I tattooed my wrists. Actually, I covered this one. This one I added to it. But I got love and peace.
Okay.
Peace and love. And I drew them myself. So that's like my drawing. That's my drawing too.
Oh wow.
Other than the guy fucked it up. But yeah, I drew these ones and took it to the guy, and like my mom signed like the permission slip because I was 17.
Yeah.
And then I got the Superman one when I was 18. And then these ones I kind of got all in college.
Yeah.
And then I've just gotten a couple more throughout the years, but I'm trying really hard to finish this sleeve
Yeah.
before I get married.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get it done by December. I've been talking to this guy. I just haven't paid my down payment yet because I'm going to do like an 8-hour session with him for like $1,000.
Yeah.
But in prepping for the wedding, I'm spending a lot of money
Yeah.
for that. So I'm like, fuck, like maybe I can't afford this tattoo right now.
Yeah.
But I would really like to finish this arm.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like,
How old were you when you got one?
I was 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
Were you drunk or anything? Was it like a random decision or did you plan it out?
No, yeah, I planned it. I had the idea for like a solid year.
Okay.
I got a turtle with Montana on the shell.
Oh, that's sick.
Because turtles always have their home on their back, and I collect turtles.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah. And
I used to have turtles when I was a kid.
Yeah?
Red-eared sliders.
Big fan of red-eared sliders.
Yeah, I had a Tank, 2 of them.
What were their names?
Tank and Tiny.
Ooh. Tank.
Because one was gigantic.
Yeah.
And one was just this tiny little turtle, and it didn't grow at all.
Was the tiny one Tank and the tank
No.
turtle?
But I always just thought that like Tank was so big because
Yeah.
they grow to their environment.
Yeah.
You know, red-eared sliders. And I got the second one after Tank. So I assumed he grew and like it was like his environment, so the other one didn't feel comfortable getting bigger.
Oh, jeez.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's how those turtles are, is like you get them a bigger area and they'll grow bigger.
Yeah.
At least while they're developing.
Yeah.
And it just never did. It stayed tiny, so I just named it Tank and Tiny.
Yeah. Well, if you see the ones like out in the wild,
This is
they're
when I was
so
like 12.
they're so big out in the wild.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
Fucking smell bad though.
so the guy that did my first tattoo, he was up in Montana. I contacted him to do my second one, and he was like, "No, I actually moved to Arizona."
No shit.
And when I moved down here, I found out he works like less than like 10 miles from my house.
How fucking convenient is that?
Yeah, so he did one for me recently, like in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Small world, dude.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's the weirdest shit.
Yeah.
As you get older and like, I don't know, move and different things, like it's, dude, like I was sitting in a meeting at ASU. I don't work there anymore, so I don't mind saying this. I was sitting in a meeting at ASU next to a guy I went to high school with.
Really?
And I didn't know he worked there. Didn't know he's going to be in the meting. Well, I wasn't next to him. I was sitting literally behind him.
Yeah.
And it was like a training seminar for like 2 hours. And like, because they call out to see who showed up, like go down the list.
Yeah.
And they got to him and called out his name, and I'm right behind him. I was like, dude. It's like, what's up, motherfucker? Like, what? It's crazy. Hadn't seen him in like 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like randomly working at the same place in 2 different departments, doing a training together. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. That happened to me. There's a girl I went to high school with, grew up with, and she, I found out she works like less than a block away from me. Or
That's
not a block,
wild.
probably a little bit further, but she's like on the same cross street
Grew
and
up in
everything.
Montana.
Yeah, and I had no idea she was down here, and yeah, I still haven't got the chance to see her again, but it's crazy, like, because I haven't seen her in like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's cool though, like, because you have that connection, like, I don't know, Havasu's pretty small, right? Like, you kind of grew up with like the same people throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My kindergarten class, the same people I graduated with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's cool, like, just seeing, like, because people, like, you didn't even think about seeing every day. You just saw every day.
Right.
And now it's like people, it's like, oh, shit, I haven't seen you in I don't know how long.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
so weird.
It gets weirder as you get older, too.
Oh, I'm sure.
It gets a lot weirder, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you see people and nothing's changed.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up, dude? And it's like, nothing. Same old shit. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, how's your brother doing? Like, good? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird, man. It's like, I don't know if you saw, like, on my Instagram, like, when I went to Ohio 2 weeks ago, I I left the day after Kobe Bryant died. He died on a Sunday. I was flying out Monday. And as soon as I found out Kobe died, I texted my brother. Because, I mean, that's just, like, part of our childhood. Like, we grew up watching Kobe Bryant slaughter the Suns.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, Kobe and Shaq. Like, fucking, that was, as a kid, like, I remember everyone wearing their jerseys. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I texted him and was like, dude, I can't believe this shit. And he's like, me neither. And we're talking back and forth. And then I was like, yeah, I'm flying out to Columbus tomorrow. And he's like, dude, I'm in Columbus right now. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I've been here for 3 weeks. Like, I'm working here. And I was like, I'm working there all week, dude. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I fly in tomorrow, Columbus Airport at 4 o'clock. And he's like, that's fucking crazy.
That's so weird.
And we just both happened to be there at the same time. We hung out 3 days that I was there.
Yeah.
I went out and did an open mic, and he came and watched me do comedy for the first time. Went out to dinner, and, like, it happened to be the week of his birthday. So, like, I left 2 days before his birthday, so he's, like, psyched that he got to see me, like, for his birthday, you know?
Yeah. How long had it been since you've seen him?
Oh, just since, I don't know, Christmas or whatever.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. So not that long.
But that's still cool. Like, anytime you can get together with your siblings, like, that's a huge
random
deal.
as fuck. Like, I don't see him that often, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just wild that, like, life put us in the same city in a different state at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so cool.
It's like, what? And I told my boss, because they were like, yeah, we're going to go do, like, you know, a team dinner or whatever. And I was like, my brother's in town, and I'd really like to go hang out with him and not go to, like, a team dinner. And my boss is like, your brother's, like, here now? Like, does he live here? And I'm like, nah, he just got assigned to work here. Like, he's, like, a traveling electrician.
Okay.
And my boss is like, yeah, that's crazy. You should definitely go hang out with your brother. Like, I was like, all right, sick.
That's so cool.
Just the weirdest shit, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happens.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see my sister in April. That's, like, the other thing. It's, like, so much harder for, like, to, like, get together because she keeps flying down here. Mm-hmm. And she's up in Portland, so, like, I haven't had the chance to see her nearly as much.
Yeah.
But we're big fans of the Crash Test Dummies.
Okay.
That's my favorite band.
Okay.
And they're performing in Denver on the 19th.
That's
so
sick.
I'm trying to meet up with her. And
March 19th?
Yeah, April.
Oh, April 19th.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really hoping for it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, make it happen, I say. That's like the older I get, like the more I value like shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you will too as you get older. And I don't mean to talk to you like that, like I'm that much older than you.
No, but I get that. Like,
but,
I mean, like, when you're younger, you don't have nearly as much of appreciation for it.
Totally.
Yeah.
I didn't care at all about seeing my brother when I was fucking 22 in college.
Yeah.
We lived together though, granted.
Yeah.
But it's just not, I mean, like, I appreciate seeing my dad so much more now. Yeah. Like, just shit like that. Like, or even my friends, like, when we lived in Flagstaff together and saw each other every day, it's like I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
But now that I see them, like, 4 or 5 times a year,
yeah,
I'm like, dude, these fucking weekends are the shit. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird, like, how you grow up and, like, it's like you think things would be one way forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like they never work out that way.
Yeah. Even, like, and it's weird, like, now there's so many, like, of my friends that are in different cities, like, some in Denver, some in Portland, like, Seattle, some up in Montana. It's crazy. Like, you got to, like, actually, like, budget, like, to where, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually, like, a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Just to see them.
It's like you wish you had that kind of hindsight when it was free to see them.
Yeah.
When it was drive across town and see them.
Yeah.
Like, those nights when, like, people are like, do you want to come out? And you're like, no, man, I'm going to stay home. It's kind of like, fuck, I should have gone out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, my, one of my best friends, Minor, he just got married in Boston. That's why I was there in October. And he was our roommate, mine and my brother's roommate in college for just, like, 3 months. Because his lease was ending. And, like, you know, May, like how most leases end, like, end of the school year type of shit. You sign them when you move there and whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I'm not going to Boston until like August. Like, and we had a spare room. And he's like, could me and my girlfriend just move in with you guys for 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
We were like, fuck yeah, dude. And that was like the best 4 months of like our entire friendship.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Because it was like a bonding experience we would have never had and will never get ever again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like we spent more time together, like had more conversations than like ever before.
Yeah.
And like shit like that is just like, it's like when people like hit me up and are like, hey, can I stay at your house for the weekend? I'm like, fuck yeah, you can, dude. Like, let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like we're so young now that's like, that's never going to happen in your 40s. Like, people are going to be like, hey, I'm coming to Phoenix. I got a hotel. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like.
That's something that's like I always look forward to, because when I was younger, my dad, every year he'd play in his alumni golf tournament.
Yeah.
So every year we'd go down and stay with his college buddy, and he had 2 kids that were the same age as my sister and me. Or they had 3 kids, but they were the same age as my sister and me.
Yeah.
And so every summer we'd go down and just hang out, like go down to Denver, and he'd like just get plastered like with like his old college buddies. And it like that's like the thing that like keeps me like you know, that sliver of hope that maybe like this can happen again.
Oh yeah.
You know, like alumni golf tournaments and like ways to get back in town.
Oh yeah, shit like that.
Yeah.
Can for sure happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, like living together.
Yeah.
Like, your dad and that guy are never gonna live together. You know what I mean?
I know. It's so.
But yeah, dude, those little things are the things you have to like take advantage of. Like,
Yeah.
my buddy asked if I want to go to the NFL draft this year because it's in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, not at all. I don't want to do that at all. Like, you know, just like I don't want to go stand in a crowd in the heat in Vegas and like watch college players that I've never heard of get drafted.
Yeah.
But I was just telling my fiance, I'm like, I think we should go. Like, I think we should make it happen. Like, when is this ever going to fucking happen again?
Yeah. And
like,
even
this is one of those times I'm going to be 48 and be like, yeah, when I was 28, went to the fucking NFL draft in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know?
And even if you're not there for like the actual draft, like the environment is going to be so cool.
Yeah, dude. Just being there that weekend.
Yeah.
It's probably, I was telling my buddy that too. I'm like, I bet there's so many draft parties and casinos.
Yeah.
That like we can just stand there and fucking pay the $100 entry fee and get like wristbands for drinks or whatever the fuck's going on, you know?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Not as an adult.
You gotta go.
I know I need to.
It's one of those things that I didn't care at all because I grew up 2 hours away from it in Havasu.
Yeah.
And I spent tons of weekends in Vegas as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was super into baseball as a kid.
Okay.
So I played traveling league baseball. Like as a kid, like I went probably, you know, like 2 straight years without like an off season of baseball. Like, cause it was like minor league, like, you know, traveling baseball, all-stars, like summer league, shit like that. Like just constant baseball.
And you can do that down here too, which is, it's always crazy to think.
And we played in Vegas.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And like, as an adult, I was like, yeah, fuck Vegas, dude, whatever. Like, I spent so much time there.
Yeah.
And, like, going there with friends and, like, renting hotel rooms and, like, gambling all night. Like, I'm like, this is some of the coolest experiences ever.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, and you're only young once. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it's, like, I charged, like, $300 worth of shots on my credit card. At one point in time, just on shots, just a tray of shots for all my friends. And, like, it was a super stupid thing to do. But I was like, whatever, you're 22 once, you know what I mean? Like,
and you just roll with it, too. Like it's.
And we all just got drunk. Like, fuck it. But now I've learned, you go for those free drinks in fucking Vegas.
Yeah.
Don't be like me, folks.
Up in Montana, you could gamble at 18. And a lot of casinos up there, they'll give you free food and drinks.
Yeah.
Maybe not a lot of casinos give you free food, but most of them give you free drinks.
Yeah.
And so like there would be times when I was in college and I was like, I have $10. I need to get a little drunk before I go out to the bars, and I didn't want to spend too much money on beer.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I didn't want to drink PBR So I'd put in $10 into a casino, like just like a little Keno machine, just bet like 5 cents, and I just hang out like in the casino, just ordering drinks, ordering food,
Yeah.
and just let that $10 go for like an hour or so. Sometimes like I had times like where I made like $30 off of it, so like that would pay for my bar tab for the night.
Yeah.
Or like I just lose the $10 and it's like, all right, I got a meal, like 3 beers for $10. Like that's like it's very clutch that they have that available and is walking distance from my house, so I didn't have to worry about anything. I miss that.
Yeah.
But
that sounds awesome.
they don't have like down here. Like I thought I was gonna go because I was like a casino guy in Montana.
Oh, okay.
Just because of that reason, and like I'd go maybe like once or twice a month, and down here like I was like kind of worried. I was like it's so available. I'm afraid I'm gonna get into it. Because I live like right by one, like I'm like less than like 5 minutes. Yeah, but I've been there twice, like since I moved down.
Yeah, there's 3 casinos just on like that one highway now.
Yeah,
202. It's crazy.
Yeah. They're not. They're. It's nice to have blackjack. We didn't have blackjack up in Montana.
Oh, I love blackjack.
Yeah,
my favorite games to play are blackjack and roulette.
I've heard. I had. How is roulette? Like I mean, like I've played it
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do the numbers or do you do the colors?
Both.
Really?
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, there's safe ways to bet and super risky ways to bet. The risky ways is just pick numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun, man. That's my favorite game to go to Vegas and play. Like I go to the old strip. What the fuck is it called? Fremont Street. That's where like cheap gambling is. Because on the strip, the big casinos are more expensive.
Yeah.
Fremont Street is where like kind of the poorer people stay.
Yeah.
There's the cheaper hotel rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where like cheaper like $2 hands of roulette instead of like $10 hands of roulette type of shit. So like I took my fiance there and we sat and played roulette for like 3.5 hours, just on like $40 each. And yeah, that's my favorite. Like you go up and down in a bunch. It's not one of those games that's like designed for you to win a lot, but
yeah.
It's addicting in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I've heard craps is like the one to play. Like I've heard so many people like that's like the best way to win.
Yeah, I've never played it. It's a confusing game to me.
Yeah.
I would love for someone to teach me how to play craps. Dude, I have to pee so bad. I'm going to run and pee real quick.
Okay.
You can just talk. I don't know if you have any book shows you want to plug while we're on here or like, whatever.
I'll be at the Tempe Improv on Wednesday, February 19th at 8 p.m. And that's pretty much the biggest one coming up. And then I'm on Instagram at Zac from Montana, and then Twitter at NotoriousZAC.
Sitting in silence.
I started plugging and then I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can carry this on. I was just going to start singing.
What's February 19th at the Improv?
It's the Comedy Madness show.
What is that?
It's I don't know who else is on it, but it's like this guy, he runs shows out in LA and he brings them to like a lot of cities. And I guess he's done this one at the Improv before. So if I bring 10 people, I get 10 minutes. If I bring 5 people, I get 6 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm like stressing out about it because I'm like, all right, I got my mom, my stepdad, a few people from work, and that's 5 right there. But I'm like, I want to do 10 minutes. So it's like I'm trying to scrounge, and it's weird because like I don't know a lot of people down here other than the people I work with.
Yeah.
And then that a few people who moved down here from Montana, I feel bad for them because I'm just like assaulting them. I'm just like, hey, like anytime I have a show,
Yeah.
like just like yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it should be fun. It's
Sounds fun.
yeah, it's interesting just because like when I was like you know, kind of coming up, like I didn't really even know how to get into like clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I'm finding out like it takes a while, and it takes like a little bit, like you just kind of keep doing it, like getting like a little bit of time and like taking advantage of it. So that's stressful too, because like I have like a set like that I do that's like relatively clean. But then like I also have newer jokes that I've been like working on for a couple months.
Yeah.
And I want to throw those in there, but I don't think I should.
Yeah.
So I'm like going through like that inner turmoil with that.
That's
And like,
fair.
and that's, it's weird because like I don't have a lot of material, like just that like works consistently.
Mm.
So it's just kind of like figuring out like what is just working right now.
Yeah.
And what's like working consistently, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I gotta kind of figure that out. So
I definitely know what you mean.
yeah.
I mean, if you want me to watch your set like tomorrow at what is it? Faux Cow? How the fuck do you say it? Faux Cow. I mean, I could, if you want to do 5 minutes, I could give you some feedback if you want.
I'm not gonna do the set that I'm gonna do there. I have a new joke that I'm very excited about, and that's like the other thing too, is like whenever I get new material,
Yeah.
I get so excited about it where like
Yeah.
I just want to work on it, and then like after a while like it loses the excitement of being new,
Totally.
and then it just becomes like working on it,
Yeah.
which that's always like really stressful because like I've gotten used to it more, but like when I was first doing it, like I was like, oh, I'm telling the same jokes in front of the same people like 10 times a week.
It's hard.
And I had a hard time adjusting that, but lately I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I can change something up every night, and that not only makes it like better as a material, but then it's also like it helps me get past like
Doesn't feel as repetitive.
right. And that I think that's kind of like what's helping me like figure out like how to improve material is just like through that.
Yeah.
So that's been like a new development that I've
And
kind
you
of like
record your
learned.
sets?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
record them. I try to listen to them as much as possible. If it's really bad, I just like, if it's like a complete bomb, I try not to listen to it.
Yeah.
Just because like there's not as much I'm gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
Other than like I'll listen to like how I'm performing the first joke.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard, man. I mean, sometimes you bomb and it's not even in your control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the crowd's just not feeling it. It's just comics and it's just silent, and you're like, cool, man.
Yeah. A lot of times though, like this is like normally I can listen. That's part of the reason I just listen to the first joke. I listen to like the energy I have for the first joke.
Yeah.
And so many times if my energy is low, like even like I'm pretty monotone as a comedian and as a person, and so whenever like I start out, there's like a way like I don't know how to do it all the time, but like sometimes like if I'll start out like way too low as an energy, then like it just goes down from there.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's like finding that right mix of monotone and excitement.
Yeah.
So that's been something like I've been trying to like listen to, like when it works, like why does it work, and like what am I doing with my voice.
See, that's good though. I think that it's good to be like self-aware like that of like what you're doing and what's happening in that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, honestly, I don't think a lot of people are that introspective with like what they're doing. Like, I mean, everyone's different, but like I've talked to people who don't even record their sets at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing. It's just like recording.
Yeah, I always listen back to it, and like I said, like you said, 5 times. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
like when I was playing basketball, like I didn't do it as much as I should have, but like watching film on basketball, that was like one of the biggest ways to get better.
right.
And I'm like taking like everything like I wish I did in basketball
Yeah.
and kind of incorporating it into comedy, and it's helped so much, like just like at least like figuring out like for the short term.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is film and like recordings.
Yeah, totally.
Do you film yourself normally, or do you just record it?
Just on my phone. I just record the audio.
If you ever do video, that's another good. I try to do like 1 or 2 videos a month.
I did the Stir Crazy mic.
Okay, yeah.
I paid for that video that they offer for like $20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really beneficial, honestly, just watching that one video.
Yeah.
So I've thought about bringing my camera and my tripod and setting it up and just recording my shit.
Yeah.
But even that, I feel like is a lot for an open mic. Like, I'm like, fuck. Like,
Normally, like, honestly, if you just set your phone, like, on a table.
yeah, and just record it that way.
Yeah, and that's, like, what I say, like, I don't do it that often.
Yeah.
Just because, like, it's kind of like you need, I think initially, I recorded every set via video, like, when I first did it. But then after a while, I was like, all right, I kind of know what I'm doing on stage.
Yeah.
So then I kind of worked in, like, now it's like more beneficial to do audio and then like some video. But I think video is always going to be the most important. I'm just trying to justify because I don't want to videotape myself all the time.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. It's honestly, it's a lot. Like, kind of getting over that initial like nervousness of like waiting for your time and like. You're like, all right, fuck, I go up and, 2 more comics, 1 more comic. Like, all right, now I got like 3 minutes before I go up.
Yeah.
It's like a lot to just have other shit going on.
Yeah.
While you're trying to prep to go on stage, Like, oh, I got to set up. Like, I've forgot to record sets a handful of times.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I forgot to turn on my recorder just because I'm like, oh, I got to go up there. Like, it's just like, it's hard to get used to all of that different shit and like kind of break down.
Yeah.
Everything, like, it's kind of just hectic sometimes going to open mics. Like, I would love to have less time to wait than more time,
Yeah.
That's why I really enjoy doing like booked spots.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, dude, this is the shit. Like, showing up and just going on in 15 minutes. Like, it's fucking so much better than sitting around, but like, you don't get as much out of it as like doing an open mic. Kinda.
I think you get a lot out of book shows because at the end of the day, that's like your material.
Yeah.
And like that's the material you're running with. So,
not as much out of it as like, there's not as many comedians there. You're not making like as many networking connections, hanging out for 3 hours, that type of shit.
I think actually too, like, well, book shows, a lot of those guys run shows. So it's like that's like a good way to network because like,
oh yeah,
a lot of open mics, some people run shows, but it's not nearly as much like through doing shows. That's how I met most people who run shows.
Right.
So that's like the biggest thing. The more shows you can do, the more, more it can lead to.
Right.
And especially like, if you can, start getting into like booked early on, because it took me a long time to even get booked on shows when I first moved here because I wasn't very proactive with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like being able to like network, and since you mentioned that you're like very conversational, and you are, like just talking to you now, like, I mean, like just, you know what I mean? Like just being able to talk to people.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing. Like,
yeah. I definitely agree. It's a big thing. I wish, like, I don't know, people would take more time in like trying to like focus on. Like, some of the comedians are very standoffish, and I'm like, dude, like, we're all just friends here, dude. Like, like,
yeah.
But yeah, like, that's like something that I'm trying to focus on more, is getting booked more and just kind of being more proactive on like the Facebook groups and stuff. I didn't realize how many people just post shows on Facebook that are like, hey, email me if you want to be on this show.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm on a show next week at Faux Cow?
Mm-hmm.
Faux Chow?
With, is it with Scotty?
Scott Waite.
Yeah.
On Wednesday. And then I'm booked at the Bench Bar from Mellow B the week after that.
Okay.
The Tuesday after that. So, like, that's, like, one thing for me. Like, I'm trying to, now that I feel comfortable and I have a solid 5-minute set I can do at open mics, and I have a solid 7 minutes I can do for, like, a book show, like, my next goals are, like, getting a solid 15 minutes together, but also just hitting all of the mics I've never been at.
Yeah.
and meeting those people that I've never met before.
Yeah.
Like I just did Bridget's Last Laugh last week.
Yeah.
And just like meeting those people was awesome.
Yeah.
Like John Henry and all the comics booked on that mic. Like Lamar's a good guy to know.
Yeah.
Who runs Stir Crazy and a bunch of other shit.
Yeah. And there's so many people like around town like who I'm still even meeting now. Like it's weird. Like I thought like there was a point where I was like, oh, I pretty much know everyone in the stand-up scene, and I was dead wrong.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people like around here that like do stuff that, you know, you don't even know about like just from the open mic scene.
Dude, totally. Like I've heard about, I mean, that I didn't know that show was going on Wednesday that you just told me about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And shit like that. I mean, it's crazy how many people have book shows and different shit going on.
Yeah.
All over.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's good. It's like, it's good that you can kind of be in your own little pocket of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But also, like, there's all those other opportunities that you could land in.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And, like, it was kind of, like, for me, a lot of it was, like, being regulars at, like, certain mics. And then, like, meeting more people and, like, finding out about other stuff and kind of, like, meeting, you know, just through, like, being at, like, in present, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, totally, dude. Like I've gone to so many mics now. Like, I mean, I did Improv Mania for so long, and I feel like a lot of comics go to that one on Thursday because there's not a lot of options on Thursday.
Yeah.
But now that I've been going out more on Sundays and Mondays, like I just see people and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like it's the same fucking people.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool.
Yeah. No, it's weird. Like I see like the same people like every night for the most part.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Like, I mean, like you kind of start like learning and like talking to them. Like it's always like a short conversation for me, like initially. And then like I've started like every once in a while, like having like a bigger conversation, like as it goes on, but it's just like getting the foot in the door. It's so weird. Like
totally.
Yeah.
But see, like I feel more comfortable trying to get a foot in the door now.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it like, 7 months, 8 months. Whereas opposed to like 4 months ago, I felt so uncomfortable trying to talk to people.
Yeah.
Or like it just didn't feel like I was like kind of in that group yet. It's very much like high school.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a freshman. There's other people like you're like a junior, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's very much cliquey in that sense.
One thing about Phoenix that I've really enjoyed, it's not as cliquish, it like there are cliques to it, like just like anywhere, but at the end of the day, like I mean like everyone's kind of branching out. You know what I mean? Like no one stays to like their set, group. For the most part. Like a lot of people like branch out, which is really cool. You know. That's one thing I'm very like passionate about like a lot of things with comedy, and one thing like with it is like the friend groups and like all that sort of thing, and like the fact like you're able to like interact with people, based off of one common interest. And there's very few places where you have like that common interest where it's all passion for so many people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like basketball, that was one of the places before that. But it's such a smaller group. Like you'd only get 12 people on a team.
Yeah.
Whereas like with this, it's like hundreds upon hundreds.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's well over 300 or 400 comics in Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably agree.
Yeah.
Which is crazy too when you think about it. Like 5 million people.
Yeah.
Like 400 people sounds like a lot of people, but I'm gonna do the math real quick.
On what? What math? What are you trying to do?
Like 5 million divided by 400. Oh no. I did that backwards. It's 400 divided by 5 million. So that's like 0.00008%
Yeah.
of like the Phoenix population.
It's a very small amount of people that are comics for sure.
Yeah.
But that's also why it's like when I was doing it for 6 months, I'm just a new kid.
Yeah.
Because it is such a... People go to mics and they're like, we know you're the new guy.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of to the point where I'm not there yet, but I do see the new people that I'm like, oh, you're a new guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, Everyone grows, but everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's obvious who's been around longer than other people.
Yeah.
And they do treat you like it.
Yeah.
Not everyone does, but some more than others. Like, I mean, I've met people who don't want to talk to me at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, cool, right on, see you later.
I think one thing with comedy is it has such a high turnover rate. Like when you talk about like people who do like an open mic once.
And I think that's why.
Yeah. Like there's so many people like, you know, you'll talk to and then like they'll say like, "Oh, I love comedy," and like you just never see them again. So it's just kind of it's weird like just how much comes from, you know, sticking with it.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's all just sticking with it and showing up and putting in the time and like working at it and like putting in your dues, paying your dues, type of shit.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love it too, man. I definitely can't get enough of it. If I was a single dude and I was 23, I would fucking be out there every night too.
Yeah. I love being single. I hate how much. That's like the thing, like too, is like I wish like I had like a desire to date right now, but like I've gone on dates. Nice. And I just don't like, I always like start out the date by saying like, yeah, I don't really want a relationship, and then it's just like, oh,
awkward.
Yeah. But I try to be honest, because like if I'm like having a date and then like things are going well, and then you know what I mean, like I'd rather be like honest up front.
Oh yeah.
Which sucks, but
don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You could be though. Yeah, no, I know what you mean though, dude. I definitely get it.
How long did you date Sam before? Can I say her name? I just said it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
She's been on the podcast.
Okay.
We were dating for like 3.5 years.
Okay.
Or no, exactly three. I proposed on our 3rd anniversary.
Okay.
But we were kind of like dating before that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years.
Did you guys meet at NAU?
We did. I worked full time at the financial aid office, and she was a student worker.
Okay.
Yeah, and we hung out a couple times, and then we started dating like 2 years later.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, like when she was like dating someone at the time, and like I had changed jobs and didn't really like see her again.
Yeah.
For like 1.5 years.
You were like Jim and Pam if Jim just went to Nashua.
Kinda.
Or not Nashua.
Yeah.
But
Stanford,
yeah, that's right.
I love The Office.
Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we've been together a while.
Are you like how's like the preparation for like marriage going? Like I had a dream the other night that I was at my wedding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it's been like fresh on my mind because like I was at my wedding and I was like, oh fuck, like this is so weird.
Yeah.
And it was very odd. So it was just like, it's been like fresh on my mind. I was like, I don't even know how I'd handle that. Like,
I mean, it's going good. Like we picked a venue and a date and everything already, and we got like mostly an all-inclusive package at the venue, so we don't really have to do a whole lot.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
is how we prefer it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to like book vendors. Like it all just comes with the venue. We don't have to worry about food. It comes with the venue. Don't have to worry about shit like flowers. Comes with the venue. The only thing we're responsible for is booking a photographer.
Okay.
And an officiant. And that's it. So it's going good.
That's cool. And that's like
trying to make it as least stressful as possible.
Yeah. And are you like starting to stress about it?
No.
That's good.
It's also in December, so ask me that again in August. And we'll see how I feel.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But yeah, that'd be good. It's gonna be a big step, but yeah, she supports me more than I could have ever asked for. So like when I was like, I'm gonna do stand-up comedy, she's like, fucking do it. I was like, okay. Like,
and that's so cool. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, just like her starting that cookie business. Open one of those up and give it a shot, dude. I kind of want to eat one now.
All right. I have I do nicotine packets. I used to chew.
Oh yeah, you have one in right now.
I have a nicotine packet in.
Oh,
I'm gonna pull it out just for.
That's fair.
This.
Put you on the spot with the cookie. Oh shit. These chocolate ones are my favorite ones that she makes. She makes like vanilla, lemon, chocolate. The chocolate one's my favorite one.
Are you a big like? Hold on. Oh my damn!
Good, right?
Oh, very good.
We took a you know who Christina P is?
Yeah.
Tom Segura's wife.
Yeah.
She came to the Tempe Improv in May last year, I think.
Mm.
And we brought a box of these to the Improv. We called ahead of time to make sure it was okay. Because she had like an event that she made a bunch of samples for. We just had a fuckload of samples left over. And so we called the Improv because we had tickets that night to the show. And we were like, is it cool if we bring cookies for your staff? And they were like, yeah, fuck yeah. Like, bring them on down.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask for anything for them or anything. I was like, sick, cool. Like, we'll see you at 7 o'clock. I don't even think I gave them my name. And I think they just had the caller ID, so they knew who I was.
Yeah.
And they made a note and like upgraded us to like a reserve spot and put us right in front of the stage
Oh, that's so sweet.
in the front row.
Yeah.
And then they gave us something else for free. I don't know if they gave us like a free appetizer or something. They just like hooked us up.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, like saved us a table and
Yeah.
yeah, the whole staff ate the cookies and shit. And I was like, God, we should just take people free cookies like more often.
Yeah.
Fucking A. That was really cool. And then Christina P roasted me for like 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, she picked on the way I was sitting.
Yeah.
She picked on what I was wearing. She picked on me for looking like a basic guy. She like asked what my name was, and I was like, Jeremy. She's like, Jeremy. It sounds like a pretty fucking typical name.
Yeah.
And she's like making fun of me for just being like a safe guy to like marry and like.
So that was like right before you got into stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Did that like push you into getting into stand up?
No. I've always been into stand up.
Okay.
Like.
But that wasn't like a deciding push, like be like I should start it.
No,
Okay.
A deciding push was really going to shows. Okay, and I've never met this guy. I don't know where he came from, so I don't mind saying this. I won't say his jokes or put him on blast, but I went to a House of Comedy show probably last March. And the opener, the host, was so goddamn terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That God, I want to tell you what his jokes were so bad, and they were so stupid. I was sitting there and I was like, babe, I could fucking do this. I was like, I could host this show.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, I could fucking be funnier than this fucking guy. Like, it was like awkward. Like, people weren't really laughing at the guy, you know, like.
Yeah.
And it was one of the times that like I had thought that before. Like, I had seen people before, and I'm like, I feel like I could do this. And that to me was like, I'm gonna start writing jokes, and I think I'm gonna give this a shot.
Yeah.
And then I didn't give it a shot for 4 fucking more months.
Yeah.
Because I was still like, I don't know, like kind of worked up the courage, tried some jokes out on like Sam and stuff, and then I went and watched an open mic.
Yeah.
And after I watched an open mic, I was like, I could for sure come back next week and sign up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, and I don't want to, like, bash people, but, like, there are people at open mics who'd fail so hard
Yeah.
that it can be motivating.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who walk off stage in literally 60 seconds because they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, if those kids can get up there and at least try it for 60 seconds, I can fucking try it.
Yeah.
And so I just gave it a shot.
Yeah. I had a similar thing. It was kind of similar at the House of Comedy. So, like, I was a freshman in college, and I went to a show. My mom was big into going to stand-up shows, so I went to a lot of stand-up shows growing up.
Okay.
And that was, like, you know, I always wanted to do it, and it was just always something, like, I just always told myself I can't do it because, like, I got basketball, I got other stuff.
Yeah.
And then I went to a stand-up show, and I got roasted. I sat in the front. I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He kept calling my shirt unfuckable, and he was making fun of how tall I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like one of those things that was like, these are all jokes like I've made about myself.
Yeah.
And people are laughing at it. And I was like, all right, if they can, like, it was kind of like one of those things. I was like, okay, it's okay to do this. Like, I mean, like, I can make fun of myself.
Right.
And so I wrote for like probably like, 6 months or so after that. And then finally, like, just like, kind of when I was up in Missoula, just breaking down, being like, all right, I can do it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like, just like, I always like think back to it. Like, it's, no one else probably, like the comedian probably doesn't remember it.
Right.
Like no one in the crowd probably remembers that much about it.
Right.
But like the fact, like it was such a big moment for me,
Yeah.
and I'm sure like it was a similar situation for you, like, just like seeing that and like thinking back to it and like knowing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is what I would call like my turning point towards like comedy.
Yeah.
Like doing comedy. Like yeah, I've always been a huge comedy fan. Like growing up, like Dane Cook, obviously, but like I always watched Comedy Central stand-up specials.
Yeah.
And I remember watching like back in the day, like Adam Sandler, Nick Swartzen, and like David Spade.
Yeah.
And like I loved Chris Farley as a kid. Like I watched SNL back when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Like I loved SNL growing up. I watched it all through high school and college. And just comedy in general, like loved Eddie Murphy as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jim Carrey, like and then moving down here, going to comedy shows was something I was so psyched to fucking do.
Yeah.
Cuz I was like there's so many comedians who come through Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I started taking Sam to a bunch of shows. Like we've seen a fucking, I don't know, a dozen at least huge name comedians. We've gone and seen Joe Rogan twice since we lived here.
Really?
Yeah, Comerica both times.
Yeah.
And just shit like that. Like I'm like I've always loved like going and watching comedy.
Yeah.
So it's something that was like just natural for me to just get into.
It's a great thing to see live. Like,
Oh yeah.
like seeing it on TV, you kind of get a good picture of it. But
So
like
much
seeing
better
it in person, it's unreal. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think too, like just like being in an environment where, everyone around is like with the common goal of laughing. And on TV, it's not necessarily like I don't laugh a lot like when I watch like specials like on TV.
Yeah.
But like when I'm in person, I'll laugh like so much harder, like when I'm at a club or like something like that. And it's
I totally agree that it's the
Yeah.
type of thing to watch in person.
yeah,
I've had friends who are like, "Will you send me a video of like your stand up and shit?" I'm like, I won't.
yeah,
Like I'm like, you have to just come see it in person, man. Like
Yeah.
if you want to see it, like I'm not gonna like just send you a clip and be like, "Yeah, what's this?"
yeah,
Like I'm like it's not the same. Like you gotta have a beer in your hand, be in the crowd. I'm not the first comic you saw. Like,
Yeah.
you're watching an hour of comedy, not just my fucking 5-minute thing I sent you.
yeah,
Like, it's a whole different thing to sit there in a whole crowd and, like, have that environment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun.
I went to a bunch of stand-up shows in college, too. Like, Key and Peele came to NAU. Tosh came twice. I saw Nick Swartz in there. I feel like I saw a couple other people that I don't remember.
Yeah. You guys probably got like a lot bigger names than we were able to get just because of the, like proximity.
Yeah, it's close to LA.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
convenient for them to like book that university,
And even Phoenix too. Like if they're doing a show in Phoenix, like college tours, it's so much easier. We were like,
Right.
and like travel costs, like traveling to Montana is so expensive. That's what I was gonna ask you. When you went to Columbus, did you fly Allegiant
No. My company pays for everything. So.
or Chandler Mesa? Did you fly out of Chandler Mesa?
No.
Okay.
No, always the big airport.
They have the direct flight to Columbus out of
Okay.
Chandler Mesa. So like flying to Montana is so expensive from here. Like you can get good deals,
Yeah.
but like you got to go through like the worst airports, worst planes.
The only direct flight I could get was Southwest to Columbus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It may not be. Maybe it's Cincinnati.
I didn't look at the other airport.
Yeah.
To be fair.
No. I think it is Cincinnati because they like Chandler Mesa. They do like Tri-Cities in Washington.
Yeah.
Rapid City, South Dakota, a bunch of Montana cities,
Yeah.
and then it's like Cincinnati. I think like just a bunch of like Midwestern cities. It's very crazy.
Yeah, it's weird to think we have that different airport out there.
Yeah.
Dude, we're at like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I'm impressed. That was good.
You got to get going soon, or you want to go for a little more? I was going to ask you a couple more questions on comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, I just want a time check. It's already 4 o'clock. Blows my mind.
I know.
Um,
It's been a good day.
I was going to ask you, like, what's your favorite venue currently? Like advice wise, like where would you tell people is like the important mics to go to? Like shit like that.
So like, as far as like favorite venue, I really like any of the clubs like around here. You know, like Improv Mania, Stir Crazy, CB Live, House Comedy, Stand Up Live, and Tempe Improv. They're all really great. Tempe Improv's the one I haven't done yet, so I'm excited to do it on Wednesday.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah. But as far as like open mics, I think the biggest one is like CB Live. But at the end, I'm a big proprietor of like just do as many as you can.
Yeah.
And like since like at the beginning of the year, I made a New Year's resolution, but I was like, I'm gonna consistently hit open mics, and I had 1 week where I got 8, but for the most part I've been like 10 to 13.
Fucking A, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been insane. So, but like I think that's like been one of the things that's like helped me the most, like in the past. Just not necessarily like even my material, but like just like my comfortability on stage, and like I'm noticing like a big difference.
Yeah.
Just in like, you know, what I'm able to do consistently. Like before I was able to do it a little bit, but not all the time. Now like I feel like I'm more consistent.
Yeah.
And I still want to get more consistent. So I think just like doing as many as you can, like from my experience, that's been like the most helpful thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. The more I do, the more comfortable I feel, for sure.
Doing multiple mics in a night, that's another big thing I always recommend, because like the first one you can use it as a way just to get the jokes out there, and then the second one you can use more for like the performance based aspect, because a lot of times like when you're trying to do both at one time,
yeah,
it's tough to like focus on one or the other. And I notice a lot of times like if I'm just doing one mic in a night and I'm trying to focus on both, it's tough because like I'll notice I miss things with both that I wanted to work on, whereas like if I'm just doing like one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when I'm doing multiple ones, like splitting it up and working on like a new thing at each open mic, and then like using the last one to like polish it off.
Yeah. So what do you do to hit multiple open mics? Do you go sign up at both, or do you just sign up at one and do it and then go to the other one and like get last on the list? Or
so like Wednesdays, typically what I do is I'll go to Tosa's. I work right by there.
Okay.
So I can get first on the list. I do my set and I leave typically. And then I'll go down to Lacuna. I'll wait for that one. And then I'll either go to like Woodshed and Ted's, which Ted's is a mixed open mic out in Tempe. Or I'll go to Boycott and Quail. And with Boycott Quail, it's nice because you can sign up at 1 and then walk over to Quail, get pretty early on that list, go up like pretty early at Quail, and then get back over to Boycott and do your set. It's right by Boycott.
The Boycott bar I've for sure heard of. I haven't been there. But Quail.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And then like doing the same thing out in Tempe. Wednesdays is like the best night to hit multiple mics.
Right. Because there's so many.
Yeah. Or normally, if I know someone's at another open mic that I'm at, or that I'm going to go to, what I'll do is I'll have them sign me up like later on the list.
Gotcha, yeah.
And then I'll put their name like down at the mic I'm at, and then we'll just like switch locations.
That's legit.
Yeah. It helps a lot. Like, I mean, I don't know ethics wise how good it is, but I think it's fine. Like, I mean, like at the end of the day.
Why does it matter?
Yeah,
as long as you're not putting them second and they're not there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And especially like going later in the list. So that's been really helpful, and just like accepting that I'm gonna spend money on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I put like 500 miles on my car a week.
Jesus.
Yeah. So It's tough. Like I got a lot of like maintenance stuff I always got to do.
I probably don't pay attention to that, but I probably put some serious mileage on my car from here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not in a solid location for mics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just driving to Tempe Improv and back in one night is, 40 miles in my car at least.
Really?
50 miles probably.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I haven't thought about that before, but now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, I mean, driving to Tempe Improv on Thursday and Copper Blues on Monday, that's solid 100 miles in my car.
Yeah. That's why I've gotten once I moved down here. It was last year I started doing this, like tracking everything, like keeping track of every mic I do.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot better of like keeping track of like other aspects to it, like the mileage. Like every time I fill up my gas tank, I do the trip thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I try to see like how much it's going, and then like I'll like jot down like last time I filled up my tank.
Damn, you're putting serious time into like other aspects of comedy too, not just fucking on stage and hitting mics, but you're tracking your mileage and shit.
Well, I think part of it too is like you gotta for my short-term goals.
Yeah.
It helps so much, like taking it week to week.
Yeah.
Because when I was looking at it from like the long-term standpoint, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you just think you'll never get there.
Right.
And like once I started dropping it, and like once I started going to the CB mic, it helped me get into that focus of taking it week to week. And, that's kind of been like the biggest thing. It's just like putting it up into short-term goals that I can track.
Yeah.
And then, at least like I see like I'm putting in the time.
Yeah.
It's not going to show initially, but if I put in the time enough weeks, it's going to pay off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Tracking is a fucking huge thing for me.
Fucking A, man. Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. And that's part of the reason I like doing this podcast now that I'm getting, like, comics to come over. Like, everyone... And there's no right or wrong way to do this shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everyone has their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's just fascinating to hear that, like, you're doing that type of stuff. Because, like, talking to someone like Mike's like, yeah, I don't even record my sets.
Yeah.
And Mike's doing great at comedy.
Yeah.
And he's been in it for, I think he said 8 years.
Yeah. He's also at a higher level. Like, he's not at the point where he needs to grind every week.
Oh, totally. But, I mean, I know even older comedians in L.A. still record their sets, Right. It's just one little thing that, I mean, that, like, he doesn't do that other people recommend doing. And, like, you know, some people don't need to.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to start tracking the mileage on my car.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, hearing you say, like, you're doing 10 fucking mics a week. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing, like, 3 or 4. Maybe I need to just step up my game on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe I need to start hitting 3 on a Wednesday.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's, like, it helps a lot because it adds up. Like, anytime you can hit multiple mics in a night. Like, last night, I wasn't going to go out, and I ended up doing 2. And that brought me to 10 for this week.
Well, there you go.
So it was like...
You do Alice and Missy's mic?
Yeah, yeah.
Smooth Brew and then the Beaver Bar or whatever?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never been Beaver before. That one was fun.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed I didn't get to go to Alice and Missy's mic. I went to the first one they did there at Smooth Brew.
Yeah.
Because they, like, just started that Friday mic.
Yeah.
But then I was out of town or whatever. I missed the last one. And then yesterday was fucking Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, that helped a lot. Like yesterday I was like, oh, I don't get
Yeah, right. But Alice and Missy work here by my house.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say that on my podcast, but...
Well, they don't know where your house is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I see them all the time, actually. I like Alice a lot.
Yeah. No, that's, like, another thing, too, is, like, I haven't met, like, a comic down here that I don't, like, enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the people that are, like, doing it consistently, like, they've all been, like, very nice, like, very respectful.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like, it's cool for me. Like, I mean, like, just because, like, feeling, like, accepted, because I'm a weird guy, and I know, like, every group I've been into, there's always been, like, a few people that, you know, they've been nice, but they, you know, they haven't always, like, you know, they haven't always been nice. And, like, down here, it's been, like, everyone's been pretty nice, like, from the get-go, which is, which is, it's good. It's a good Phoenix is a good place to do comedy.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
Another thing, sorry, I'm coming back to this, but
no, you're good, dude. Yeah, any advice? I just think this is important to like future my podcast. Like,
yeah,
if anyone can listen to this and get like some basic comedian advice or even just a little tidbit, like,
yeah. So one thing I do is I journal every day.
Okay.
I try to write like 1 or 2 pages, because at least like, and that's like helped a lot, because when I was just trying to write comedy, if I didn't have an idea, I'd get discouraged. So like if I'm writing like in a journal, at least like I'm getting the practice of like story structure and like how to write, how to incorporate words, like, and how to just write better.
Right.
And that's helped a lot. Like,
so what are you journaling? Just thoughts?
Yeah, just
day shit that happened? Anything?
I write a lot about like my goals and stuff, because I'm not
Okay.
I don't like expressing my goals a lot. So I do believe in like manifesting.
I think it's good to keep some things to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like good for like the manifesting and like giving me like something to work for, because if I'm seeing it, I'm expressing it to someone.
Yeah.
This way, like I don't have to express it to someone, but I'm still expressing it to someone. You know what I mean?
Right. It does help to get things out.
Yeah. So that's helped a lot just with my writing, because like, it's made it so much easier to just jump from like journaling, and then I'm like, oh, that's something, and then I kind of write it down, jot it down. And normally I've noticed like when I don't do that, I write like a little bit and then I don't have anything else. Normally like when I'm journaling, I like keep going with the idea,
right? And
it gets a little bit further. That was when I was in journalism school, that was like something that like all my professors told me to do.
Okay.
And I stopped doing it for a little bit, and then like kind of getting, it was like, I think October I got back into journaling again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is good advice. Journaling is definitely good. Yeah, I think any kind of writing exercise in that sense, helps just kind of like you said, build out the story structure or wordplay. Wordplay is something that I always kind of throw out there to people, and that's something that I work on when I listen to my jokes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what other word could I say instead of that?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just like, basic, like instead of saying I walked somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, what else can you say instead of you walked?
Right.
Like, you skipped, you fucking quickly, you hustled, like, just like thinking about, even with punchlines, of like, can that punchline work with a different word?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
That's like I forgot what podcast I was listening to, but they were talking about Jerry Seinfeld, and there was a word he said, and he was deciding between 2 words, and then somebody threw out another word, and he's like, oh yeah, that's a funny word or something. I can't remember the exact story, but it was just the fact he said like, oh, that's a funny word.
Yeah.
And so like you wouldn't think of like that's something like, some words. And like I Am Comic, it's like Sarah Silverman, she's like saying poo poo is funnier than pee pee or something.
Right.
Just weird shit like that. You don't think, a lot of people like don't think about.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the type of stuff I think about more, just because I listen to so many comedians' podcasts.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to listen to. Like, I like to listen to the comics who fucking have other comics on and they just talk about stand-up.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me. And it's interesting, like I said, like so many people just have different fucking techniques. Like the way I write is like I write a topic at the top of a page and write as much stuff, even if it's not jokes, about that topic.
Yeah.
And then I kind of try to work out the jokes within there.
Yeah.
And that's always just how I started writing stand-up, of pick a topic like coronavirus.
Yeah.
And then I wrote like 2 full pages of shit about coronavirus, and just, I mean, even if it's just super fucked up stuff about Asian people or whatever, it's like, it's kind of get it out and try to see what works. And like, not saying I'm trying to be super racist, but.
And sometimes you just need to see it to like understand, because when you see it and then you read it out loud, you're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That helps a lot.
And then saying it.
Yeah.
At the mic.
Saying it.
Sometimes you say something out loud and you're like, I might not say that again. Like,
Oh yeah. That's like something I've had to get over because I've made myself look like an asshole so many times at open mics.
oh yeah,
And I forget about it. Like I've forgotten about it. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird because like I can remember things I said like when I was in high school, and like to one person, and I'm like, that was so weird, and I still stress out about it. Meanwhile, like I've said things that are like actually like horrible at an open mic, and I'm like, oh fuck it, I was working on it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to, and
Yeah.
that's part of the like just learning to accept that, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, yeah, this is a part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like I walk that fine line with a lot of my jokes. Like, I like to write dark jokes.
mm.
But sometimes I say something and it's just silent, and I'm like, okay, working on that one.
yeah,
And it's just like, well, at least I tried it.
yeah,
It's like I'm not trying to look like a huge asshole.
yeah, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I do have to.
Dude, let's just wrap this up. If you
We're
gotta
good.
pee,
Yeah,
yeah, we're at 2 hours and 35 minutes, so I think we're good to end here.
let's go. I appreciate you having me on, Jeremy. It's been
Yeah,
fun.
man. You wanted to plug any social media or anything?
I already plugged it midway through, but
Okay.
I'll throw it out again. Twitter, Notorious ZAC, and Instagram, Zach from Montana.
All right. Thanks for coming, man. Please like and subscribe to my channel, Millennial Meltdown Podcast. I'm on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the good shit. Follow me on Instagram, Jeremy Cox. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and I hope you come back and do another one, man. This has been dope.
Yeah, no, I hope to in the future as well.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bless you.
Peace.